That looks fun.
Hello and welcome to Austin Action Fest, where the action is. I am Keisha CG. I'm one of your hosts for the podcast, and I'm also one of the coordinators for Austin Action Fest.
Woo! I'm Danielle, and I'm Danielle Weatherford. I'm the creative director for Austin Action Fest.
Benjamin Reddick, aka Lord Violence. I think we all know what I do. I do fighting, kick, stab, chasing, and jabbing. I'm also the festival director for Austin Action Fest and part of our Action Addicts.
Go ahead, Darren.
Oh man, who the hell am I? We hit to pump you up. How about that?
All right.
Okay, that's awesome.
I'm Joe, local director here, joining the Austin Action Fest, and here to help host it and go for it.
All right.
All right. And here I go. I'm going to take you on here, Mr. Instone. Ladies and gentlemen, hold on to your seats. For tonight, we unveil a mind that thrives in the shadows, a visionary who carves fear into the fabric of our imaginations. Emerging from the depths of indie horror, he's a modern maestro who masterfully channels the unsettling grit of Carpenter, the raw energy of Zombie, meticulous grandeur of Nolan, the visceral chaos of Aronofsky, and the cerebral intensity of Fincher. From his bone-chilling debut with John, a guerrilla filming triumph crafted on grit and a mere $4,000 to his blood-soaked cult sensation, Butcher's Bluff, this creator has proven that true horror isn't about the budget. It's about guts, glory, and fearless commitment to storytelling. Now he's sharpening his creative blade with Caught in My Eye, a genre-twisting symphony of noir, slasher, and home invasion terror. This isn't just a film, it's a plunge into psychological warfare, where the lines blur between hero and villain, and the audience is left rippling the edge of their seats. Beyond the silver screen, his dark artistry extends into the realm of music, makeup, and special effects, making him a jack of all nightmares and the ultimate horror artisan. So lock your doors, check underneath your bed, and prepare for chills, because we're diving into the world of the one, the only William Instone.
Wow. That may be the best intro I've ever had. Wow.
That was awesome, Danielle.
That was great. Good job.
Pretty epic.
You humble me.
Ah,
Hey.
well, we have to, give credence to our guests. So there you go.
Don't worry, William. You just have to follow that up.
Speechless at this point.
Wow.
Well, welcome to the show.
I'm just a dude, man. I that's all it is. I do what I do. I like to make horror, and I like to do action, and I like to do, just make dark imagery with, be it music or film or whatever. I'm a full-time artist now for the first time in my life. So it's great. Life is good. It faced death last year. Yeah, I faced death last year. Danielle knows what I'm talking about. We were on the same page, but if you don't know, you don't know. I'm not going to talk anymore about that. But faced that last year, and still facing it. And but it's good. I'm all good now. I'm
Good.
Everything's good. I got a steel leg. I walk like the penguin now, but I'm still kicking, and plan on keep on kicking ass as much as I can. So basically, a little fire under me saying, we don't have time to sit in a job and work for somebody else to make them rich for no appreciation. So we only have today, and we got to get out there and just get stuff going. So I put everything into double drive. We finished up this proof of concept trailer. I shot the last couple of days while we were sitting in a chair. I was on a cane. But we got it done. I mean, Ben, when you were there at the pool, if you remember, I couldn't lift my leg up when I was trying to do the kick. If you can remember that, and I was having a hard time standing on that leg. Yeah, I didn't even have any idea what was going on with that leg until a few months later. I just knew I had an injury. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
And then you just find out, like, oh shit, really? Okay.
Well, hey man, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
Persevering.
Yeah.
I mean, most filmmakers think they have it hard. I don't think it gets much harder than what you just described. So,
Yeah.
bravo
Thank
to
you.
you, sir.
Thank you, man. I mean, like I said, I don't talk too much about it because I don't want sympathy or anything. You know, I'm just, like I said, I'm just a dude, and we're out here doing what we do, and you know, can't let something like that throw the wrench in the gears and stop you from living. You know, I have no expiration date, so I'm good, but it was definitely a scary thing. So.
I'll say this real quick. People forget that entertainment, we also have life that backs us,
Yes.
and so we're real people like everybody else. We have creativity and dreams, and it's what you do with that piece of your life that, you either lay down and shut up, and let the world take you over, or you go, what can I do with this and move forward? So, man, you're rocking it.
Yeah, when I was laying in the hospital bed, I couldn't walk for 8 weeks. I mean, I couldn't even put any pressure on the leg at all. And I just swore to myself I wasn't going to die there, and I was going to get up and I was going to do more. And I had the option to go back to work, and I chose not to. So I'm broke, but hey, I'm happy. We're getting shit done, man. We really are.
So you fully committed to the filmmaking lifestyle. No weekend warrior, 100%.
No. 100%.
Okay, got it.
Every day of my life, I wake up and we're doing something, working on some type of way to I'm either tweaking the script or we're planning out a way that we're going to, get this thing done, budgeting. I'm dealing with distributors for my last film and then planning stuff in the future. So like I said, it's one, every single day I'm doing something that has to do with getting the art made.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So, Darren, I'm assuming you are also plugged in on this project as well. So so just so we know, everybody knows, the main project that you guys are talking about right now is Caught in My Eye, right? And yes. What are the roles on those? Because I know you two are working together very closely. Who's doing what exactly?
I'm DOP, cinematographer, primary. Definitely am producing quite a bit on this too. Obviously not the main one. William is main producer and director. We've both been working on the story for over a decade. So, and then I'm also the killer, so the villain in the film as well. So I'm crafting the imagery, and obviously William's helping out too. He's got a good eye for stuff, and together we were killing some imagery. I wish we had some stuff we just shot last week to show you, but I think he's still working on Hush Hush. But man, we really just blew the lid off of that. I haven't seen the damn raw footage yet. He still has my card.
And your makeup in there is awesome, by the way. I saw you in your full get up for it. That is awesome. Did you do that, William?
Do what?
Are you the makeup person for this too, or is it somebody else?
That mask. That's a mask. It's not a makeup.
I was like, oh my gosh, that is amazing.
No, that's an actual mask. It's made by Sergio Garcia.
He has it. He's
in San Antonio.
It is.
It's a mask, and that's actually made. I did do the mold of Darren's face. We actually molded his and did a life cast of him, and then we sent the life cast, so that's actually custom fit to his face.
Oh my gosh.
And it's just the two of us, really. When he's on screen, I'm doing all the camera work. When he's not on screen, he does the camera work, and we kind of just argue with each other until we figure out the light scheme, and then we shoot it, and we argue some more, and then we figure it out. And in the end, it all works out, But it's not one of those things where you're like, fuck you, it's not like that. It's just one of those, hey, let's do this. No, we don't need to. Let's do it anyway. Okay, let's shoot that anyway. Okay, we'll shoot this and we'll shoot that. So it's just how it is. And, we figure out in the editing room, because I'm very much an editor. I've done all the editing, and I shoot all my films as an editor. And coverage is the big thing for me. So I like to have even angles that you might see for 5 seconds, I need a whole take of it because I need it for the transitions or I need it for a cutaway. And if you're not thinking like an editor, sometimes you'll think, why the hell are we shooting this? This is stupid. But then when you see it in the cut, like, oh, okay, now I understand. So,
Got it.
And that's been in every film I've ever done. Butcher's Bluff was the same way. I caught a lot of shit for, we're overshooting. We're way overshooting. I mean, some of our DPs were getting so mad at me for overshooting. I'm like, you gotta understand, I need this shot. And even then when you see the edit, like, it's on there for like 3 seconds. And we spent an hour on it, but it needed to be there. Because that's the difference of an amateur looking film and a professional looking film. It's your shot.
Yeah, for Caught My Eye, we really are just, I mean, we are a 2-man crew. They're really, we're both, you know, we're left lung, right lung. We're both breathing life into Caught My Eye. Yeah. We don't have a huge crew or anything else like that. We're just 2 indie dudes that have been grinding at, you know, our craft.
For now.
You did that on purpose.
for a decade now. So, you know, and until we get more people, then we'll have some more guts in the fight here. But right now we're both breathing life into it, and it's cool. It is what it is, you know.
Is that how you prefer to work though? Do you prefer to work with smaller crews, or do you prefer to have a?
I think a big crew is a waste of time. I mean, everybody's got their job, and obviously Hollywood does a lot of the stuff for a reason but we're not Hollywood. As an indie film maker, I would much rather have 7 people that are pulling their weight and doing multiple jobs and get it done than have 50 people that are standing around half the time and everybody can't make calls on their own. Like, oh, I got to talk to this department. Oh, I can't step on his shoes. I can't step on his shoes. And I can give you an example. When I was acting in the movie Machete, the first AD and second AD were at each other's throats constantly. First AD would tell us to do one thing. Second AD would come up to tell us to do another thing. And then it took Danny Trejo to come on there. So there's too many captains on this ship. You know, they really, because they were telling us to do different things. And then they were fighting. The first and second AD were fighting with each other constantly because they were all kind of going. I guess there was a power struggle. I don't know. I didn't get the whole story, but that was definitely the experience that a lot of us in those scenes were. We didn't know what to do because too many people were making calls, and big time directors over there in Video Village, not out there making the calls. The ADs are, and that's just not the way I would like to do things. I like to be right in the gutter, and and again, I'd rather have 7 people that I'd rather have 4 people pulling their weight. Plus, at our level, we can go into places and shoot with 4 people and not leave much of a footprint.
You shoot the movie that's appropriate. I mean, like you just said, you watch Gladiator. You can't shoot that with 7 people. You need a whole giant, So you just make the movie with the budget and the crew required for the film. And we're creating a project that doesn't need 50 people on set to accomplish the shots, for example. So ideally, we both have talked about it, 7 to 10 people. Tight crew or indie. We're not going to hemorrhage money. We can't do that. So there's no sense in paying people to hang out and be cool, So
and we've had our experience with PAs that don't really know how to PA. They're here. They just want to hang out. Like, oh, this is cool. We're on film set. Like, okay, you're supposed to go carry our gear. Oh, where do I go? Go get the gear, bring it in. Man. That's your job.
It does happen.
So, I mean, and God bless them for coming out and wanting to be helpful, but sometimes they're more of a nuisance than help because it's just an extra person there being a distraction,
That's true. Okay, and Daniel, you said you had a question, seemed like.
No, you actually asked my question because that's what I was going to ask was, preferring the preference of a larger crew to a smaller crew. And I figured it was a smaller crew as well.
In Butcher's Bluff, we probably had around 7 or 8, and that was at tops. There were some days where it was just me. And when I was getting B-roll, I didn't have anybody. It was just me, and then there was times where I filmed my actor, Dakota, and it was just me and him. And I got pickup shots that are in the movie, and it was just me and the camera. And I did the audio, I did everything. Just because it was just like I only needed one shot. It was a pickup shot.
I got you.
And so there was no reason to bring everybody out and pay people for one shot. And so that's one thing good about indie too, is that you get in the edit room and you realize I really need I really need this wide shot here. It's not making sense. It's not, I need to see that, or I need this good close up shot of them getting stomped or whatever. I'm just coming up with ideas. I'm just spitting stuff.
Yeah.
And you can get that when you have a local actor. As long as they haven't changed their look, you can usually get them to come back and grab that shot, where you don't have the luxury of that when you get some of the out-of-state people, which is why I try to prevent from doing that as much as I can, because once they're gone, they're gone.
Yeah. To your point of keeping your crew really small, I know that helps to keep your budget really small too. Mm-hmm. How do you determine the budgets for your films whenever you go into these with Butcher's Bluff and with Caught in My Eye? How do you figure out your budgets?
Well, for me, at least I can talk, since Butcher's Bluff's already done, I can talk about that one a little bit more in detail. We shot that movie with what we had. I raised the money first. I didn't know how much money we were going to make. I just, so when at the end of the day, we raised around $65,000 online. I said, okay, so I guess we have a $65,000 movie. But then about halfway through, ran out of money. Thankfully,
you raised $65,000 online. Sorry, is that what you said?
Yes, I did.
Can you talk a little bit?
I got a whole spill of how you can do that.
Yeah, there's the question.
Okay. We'll get there. I got you. Okay.
Lightning has not struck twice. I will tell you that. We've tried it again and haven't had that quite much success, but I will tell you how I had made that happen. And if I would have had in the same situation, I could probably do it again. But we'll get back to that. I raised $65,000 through Indiegogo over 2 campaigns.
Wow, that's amazing.
And when we ran out of money, I had an investor that came in and saved the day, bought some of our LLC up, because at that point, that's all you have to offer. And he helped us get past the finish line. And so we ended up with about a little under $100,000 to make the movie. I didn't realize how expensive food was.
Yeah, crafty, baby.
Yeah. So that's another reason to keep your crew down, because you got to feed people. Porta potties. We were filming out in the woods. Yeah. I got a lot of females in my crew and my cast. I'm not going to ask them to squat around a tree, so I had to bring porta potties down. Again, I'm out on 300 acres of woods. We had to light the place, so we had to get generators. I had to buy a generator. There was just things just a lot of things that I hadn't thought of at that point in my process of filmmaking. So with this one, it caught my eye because of all those situations of coming up, paying for rooms, flying out talent. I'll just make an example, Jeremy London, because he'll be in Caught my Eye as well. I have to fly him in, put him up in a nice hotel, because I'm not going to put him in a crap hotel. I gave him a per diem and I feed him the whole time I'm there, because I want to take care of him. Hence the reason why when I said, hey, you want to be in this next film, he didn't even have to look at the script. I'm in. It's just like, you're doing it, I'm in. So cool. So that was again, paying for these hotel rooms and all this. It's an expense. It's an expense that builds up, which is something I really am hoping to avoid more with Caught in My Eye, because it was a big expense that I probably could have put more into the film, into the effects. Effects was another big thing. I used to doing effects myself. Can't wear all the hats, so I pass that on. I don't really do that on film sets anymore unless I have to. I did about 15% of the effects in Butcher's Bluff. I did myself because I had to.
That's funny how it goes. Somebody does the first or second project. They try to do everything and get the experience. So you know what? That's enough.
That's it. Yeah.
Doing that again.
I don't want to do it again. So yeah, and also up until Butcher's Bluff, I never had an AD before, and I realized I need a damn AD. That saved my ass on so many places, and it makes life so much easier to have an AD. They're really not given the respect and acknowledgement that they deserve, because those guys are, without a good one, you're really not getting your stuff done. I mean, if you can.
Who was your AD on Butcher's Bluff?
His name is Evan, and I will probably mess up his last name, so I'm not even going to try to say it.
Evan.
So Evan. Yeah. He was a film student. He'd never AD'd before,
Nice.
but he did it. He learned what he could do, and he came out and he interned, and that's how I saved some money. Not having to pay for a really experience. But even just having him there, and one of my co-producers, David Newman, was our second AD. And between the two of them, they took care of us. David wore a lot of hats. He was also a BCam operator. He did a lot of our post-production stuff for us as well. So he's a rock star.
Awesome.
He'll be coming on with Caught My Eye as well to help us out a lot, because he's like a major help, especially in post-production. So
it sounds like you're bringing a lot of names are coming back for the next project, which we love to see. That makes a lot of sense. Okay.
I got a few people. I'm working with a completely, again, new crew, and just going with a different thing. But there's a few of those gym guys that they're my team that I can't really, I don't want to go without, because they know how to work with me. I'm not conventional as far as this is how it's done. Nah. We call it punk rock filmmaking, man, because it's not your conventional way of filming. But the proof is in the pudding. I'll go ahead and say it's not a secret. We shot a video for Warner Brothers. It's going to be released by Warner Brothers. It features Wayne Static from Static X. The band's called Mephisto Odyssey. Wayne died in 2014. And this video was shot by Len Wiseman, who directed Underworld. Okay. Before Underworld, in 2000, he shot this video. The song was featured on the Batman Beyond Return of the Joker soundtrack, the animated movie. So this is a 25th anniversary. So the songwriter has for one, I re-edited his original video. He remastered it, and I took out all the Batman footage for copyright reasons. And Warner Brothers releasing that this year with my cut. But then the songwriter remixed and remastered and rewrote the song. So now there's a different version. Nice. So we used a lot of the footage shot by Lynn, and then we recently shot inserts of a female Joker, which is inspired a lot by the Martha Wayne storyline, where she was the Joker. But then we have like Joaquin Phoenix and Heath Ledger both are inspired in it as well. And there's a little Harley Quinn in there. She actually becomes kind of a Harley Quinn-ish type of character throughout the video. And that was just done with the two of us and a camera. So when you see the quality of what we pulled off with two people, a couple of battery-powered lights, a DSLR camera, and a cool location with one actress, it's pretty impressive.
When can we see that?
That will be, that's all on Warner actually right now.
Okay.
So again, we're talking the big boys now. And we did it for free because I'm not going to lie. I did it for hoping that they'll check us out. I mean, it was, sometimes you got to put karma out there in the world, and you give a little to get a little. And it wasn't necessarily free. The musician re-edited, well, not edited, but remixed, and I guess you could say edit, and EQ'd and did all the audio for Butcher's Bluff. He redid all that, fixed it for me. And he did all the audio for the Caught My Eye trailer, and we'll be doing the score and the audio for Caught My Eye feature as well. Okay. It's kind of like skill for skill. We traded.
Trade, yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, that's awesome. Congratulations.
There are stills. You can check out the stills that I posted of the Joker girl on my page if you want to see some of the lighting schemes. And I think we did pretty close at creating that Todd Phillips Joker look.
Yeah. Okay. Totally.
We'll definitely zoom in on that. Okay.
We'll have to post some of those on the AAF website. Not the website, the Facebook page. I mean,
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's no secret that we're doing it. It's just we don't have a release date yet, and it's not something we're like widely saying, "Hey, look at this." I was not told I couldn't talk about it. I never signed an NDA, so it's good publicity. I mean, they should want us talking about it. I don't see any reason.
Yeah.
So I did have a question when you were talking about shooting with a small crew. So AD, obviously, you're saying is indispensable. What other positions do you think, if you're a one-man army and you need to fill out your team, who are the like top, besides the AD, top 3 or 4 other positions you think you need?
You need a Cordell.
A hell of a good PA.
PA.
I mean, that a PA that's not just sitting around. It needs to be a guy that knows their shit. They'll be there. They're gonna, when you tell them to get something, they're there. They're the extra hands. And audio, man. Yeah. Audio will be the bane of your existence if you don't, because it's been our problem. We've had that issue with Caught in My Eye, but we've always been able to figure it out. But it has been the only real issue that we've had.
Well, I just spent $400 on upgrades. Yeah, because we were experimenting with a few things, and we're gonna have to ADR a few things, and I'll let y'all break it. We can break it here on some news right here. We'll play the first time we're making it public. Okay. We shot a 20-minute short for Caught in My Eye that we're going to be putting in festivals. It's basically a teaser. It's a condensed version of the first 2 scenes. Obviously different than what's in our actual script. We kind of modified it to where we could shoot it to really introduce Goldilocks to the world. And so we shot some stuff, and there was a little bit of audio that was kind of messed up. We had some bleed over with our lavalier mics, which causes a phasing issue. So we're having to ADR the scenes that we use lavalier mics on. And we Foley a lot of stuff anyway, just because it's better audio, especially like sound effects and stuff, and people breathing and walking and moving things on it. We can just get better sound through Foley. If people don't know what Foley is, that's when you record it after, when you have the microphone very close to you. If say I'm picking this thing up off and I'm setting it down, we just put the microphone there. We get 5 or 6 takes, and whichever one sounds the best, we use that.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
From when you did John, so looking back and looking at where you are now and seeing a lot of the stuff that you're talking about right now, when you're looking at that person back then, what is it that you're like, whoa, I have grown here, and here is why? What do you see with that person back then?
Oh, in every form I've grown. I didn't know what the hell I was doing with John. John was my thesis film. I never went to film school. I just had an idea, and I wanted to do it. I had shot Machete, and I had done Band Slam and a movie called Between Kings and Queens. I was acting, but I wasn't getting parts that I enjoyed playing.
Yeah.
And so I might as well make my own damn movie. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Just figured it out. And so, yeah, if I could go back in time, I would definitely talk to myself about. I had to learn to edit. It was the greatest thing that ever happened as far as my filmmaking journey. I have no regrets of making that film, even though I can't watch it because I'm embarrassed by it. Because it's a learning.
I think we all have those.
Yeah, it's not horrible. It's definitely not good. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It was learning. I was learning what to do and what not to do.
Yeah.
The biggest thing I learned, and like I said, I'd go back and tell them, don't wait to get your release forms. Oh, we'll get them later.
Good luck with that.
People disappear.
Yes, they do.
Don't use music without release forms. Don't go into a public place with cute signs without permits. So, I mean, I can never release John because of all the mistakes I made.
Sure.
Yeah.
But it was, it was a film that I made. I was proud of it at the time. It taught me how to make movies.
No, we talking about
we got a legal issue happening right now because of somebody that we hired chose not to get the release for the music, and she wants to get paid more for it. So, anyways, the whole thing.
Well, here you go, Udio Studios. Make your own song. Use AI and make your own song.
Exactly right.
At this point, I hate saying that, but you know what? AI has changed the game.
It has.
You can, with a couple of buttons, you can make the song sound exactly the way you want it to sound.
Exactly.
And
Okay.
these musicians can either step up, and I'm a musician, so I don't say this with a
Right.
kindly. It hurts my heart to say it. You're expendable now. You're John Rambo, baby. So if you want your name in a movie, you want to put your music out there and get the experience.
Yeah. Join the
Work,
team.
work with
Join
these
the
people.
team. Join the team.
Our people like us are going to create the music through AI, and we won't need you.
Or do low budget covers. Covers is always an option.
Yeah.
Just get-
Oh.
Yeah. So we identify.
Yeah.
So I got a question for you.
Sure.
You've mentioned a lot about editing and multiple roles, and I think everybody on here is a creative of some sort. But what is your favorite? Like, what is the one that you could have? I mean, I know it's easy to say right now. You don't have a choice. You have to do a lot, right? All hands on deck when it comes to indie filmmaking, and there is a beauty in that too. But I mean, what is it that you could pick?
You're killing me, dude, because I can't do one without the other.
Fair.
I really like editing, but if I didn't shoot it myself or be there on set with the person shooting it and telling the camera what to do and getting the shots, I don't know if I'd be able to edit it the way that I edit. I edit really fast because I know the shots. I was there. I said, okay, let's get this shot. Let's get that shot. Okay, we're going to shoot here. Then and I see the scene unfold on set. And I already know what the edit is. So I'm able to knock the scene out. I mean, honestly, I told you, we shot a 20-minute short. I edited that in a day. My first cut was done in a day, about 14 hours, because I already knew the shots.
That's impressive.
And it's fun, but I know there's a lot of just super talented editors out there that eat my lunch as far as being editors. So if I got to pick one, it's going to be being there on the set and experiencing the creation.
Expanding on that, what if you had to just pick your top two?
Well, of course, it would be those two, being on set and then editing it at the end. Because
and editing.
So
here's the thing. You're in control. There's three ways. Three forms of a movie. A movie's written, and it's told. The story is told on page. Then the movie's shot, and it's told by being shot. But your final is your editor. The editor is what their way of telling the story is what the world sees.
Yeah.
So let's put it this way for the nerds, and I'm guilty here. George Lucas can't edit for shit, and Star Wars wouldn't be what it is without his wife, who recut his movie. He told a story. He told a story through his script and through shooting it, but it didn't work.
Yeah.
She chopped that thing down and made it work. And what we all saw and loved was George Lucas's wife's cut.
Well, there is 3 stories in one. The written one, the shot one, and then the edited one. So I gotta agree with you on that.
So if I could pick those two, I'm in charge of 2 different aspects of the story.
They're all pillars.
Everything's part of it. But if I could only pick 2, that would be it.
Well, for the record, and in case anybody's confused, one of the short clips we will be exporting from this will be William Instone insulting George Lucas and saying he's garbage. So, Darren.
Hey, I just said he couldn't edit.
That is so not what he said.
That's not, Dan. That is totally misinterpreting, Dan.
Not as good as his wife, he can't.
Listen.
But I did.
He would get kudos.
Ex-wife. Sorry. I'm sure he don't like to hear that now because they're not married anymore.
But Darren, for you, same question, man. You do a couple of different things. If you could pick your top 2, what are the top 2?
I mean, on this project, I'm not officially directing. Obviously, me and William work together on a lot of stuff, so we're both involved. But I've been indie filmmaking myself since I was 17 years old, and I do love to direct. But as I learned back then, is like, who's going to shoot my stuff? So I early on got a passion for cinematography. Started with photography. And I was just looking at some of my photos today, actually, to be honest. And I was like, oh, look at that. That's where I picked that up, or where I learned that. Or oh, I see that. Look at that. I've always had that eye for that kind of thing. So I think being a photographer and turning into a cinematographer so I could direct and tell the short stories I wanted was really huge for me, and became now a big passion of mine. I've become a bit of a fanatic about just getting the imagery correct. What I would consider cinematic is always my goal. And of course, I wanted to do these things because I also wanted to act. I wanted to be the action star or be the movie guy, and have fun doing all that. So I'd say for me, I do love directing, but I do mostly focus a lot of my time, energy on cinematography and camera work. And of course, I like to act. So those would be my two main pillars.
Okay.
Very cool.
I usually throw myself in as a cameo over here. I'm more the Tarantino, like maybe just have a cool character that's in there. I could be in there for just a little bit, but be memorable.
Yeah. No, that's very fair. That's very fair. I think,
Darren, is that
unless
how
you have a really tight team
first in film? Was it through your acting?
Yeah, I mean, also I used to have a heavy metal band, so I was the lead singer for that. I love it. I love singing, being on stage and performing and doing all that fun stuff. So I would say, yeah, acting. But again, acting in my own things. I've done a little bit of semi-professional stuff, but nothing of interest or note that I would consider all that fun. It's just mostly I'm in this to do the thing I love to see. And I think a lot of people obviously love cinema and love film. And if you're making it, if you're involved, there's a reason you want to be part of that. So that's what happened. I like to act. It's fun. So I get to play this killer, this unhinged maniac you're going to see in a little while at some point.
Oh yeah, we gotta throw that up there. So
all the perversion is his fault.
So
his fault.
So one, it sounds like we're gonna see Goldilocks in a karaoke situation at some point.
Darn right.
Great promo. I'd watch that. And I do have a question as far as what makes this particular project different from the other ones? Like what do you think really caught my eye aside from the other horror projects we might see or things people are doing right now?
Well,
you want to go?
Go for it. Go for it.
Yeah, I'll go first. I mean,
I've done some talking. Go ahead.
Yeah, I gotta let you cool down. I'm not huge on horror. Of course, I love horror and I like horror, but it's not my genre per se. I'm a big action guy and sci-fi fantasy guy really at heart. But of course, I like my share of horror. But for me and William teaming up, it's like if I'm gonna do horror, I wanna do it. Like I want to bring it. I want people to be freaked out, scared, unhinged, grossed out, uneasy. And so for me and him coming up with this character over the last decade and, slowly honing it better and better and getting it creepier and creepier has been a lot of fun and a very cool passion. And it's definitely been the focus of us to bring something a little more, William loves the slasher horror stuff. And, again, I enjoy some of that too, but I want to bring the psychological, I want to bring the layers. I love the movie The Matrix, for example, and it's a layered film. Like you can watch it at different mindsets and enjoy it and get things out of it. And that's what I wanted to have us bring to this is a layered horror film that even if you're not into blood and guts, you might be into the psychological or the thriller or the theme or something that'll speak to someone on every level. So that's been the big, I think, deep professional aspect we're trying to go for is we're trying to lock in solid layers to really hit as many of the audience strata that we can. So we got parts of Silence of the Lambs in this. We got Seven stuff in this. We got, Mike Myers in this. So we're trying to really deliver something very advanced in a way, really. It's very ambitious what we're trying to do. But I wouldn't be here today on this podcast if I didn't 100% believe that, one, we're able to do it, or two, we are doing it. And I feel very confident we have really figured out what we're up to. And I think if the budget, we're going to need a level of money to make this the right way, because that really just is a huge factor in delivering a final product that really is going to hit. But if we can do that, I feel like we got something different and unique. And that's a big thing about Hollywood, because again, it's 2024. Everything's kind of been done, but the Hollywood model is give me that thing there just different. And if you can do it just different enough, it's fresh and it's enjoyable and you can get the audience to be excited about it. But this is becoming harder and harder to do. I mean, how many alien movies are there? How many ghost stories are there? It's all over the place. But if you do it just different enough, just right, and you got it, Plus there's that, that X factor where something really just pops, whether it's the acting or the delivery or the overall vibe. If we can nail that too, just get a thing that just hooks someone's people's attention, then I think we got something really awesome. And I'm excited because this could be franchisable. I really do feel like this Goldilocks guy, this thing right here, man, is creepy on stage, on camera, in the shadows. When I'm in this thing, it's a new thing. It's different. It's the same but different. Monster in a mask, but it's different.
Let me add.
Hair too.
We doing this monster versus monster thing as well. It's like that's not done too often. I'm the first half of this movie. We're making this Goldilocks out to be the most despicable character. You can't, no possible way would you cheer for this man. And then we put him in a situation where he becomes an unlikely person that you're like, okay, get him. He's basically in the closet when there's a home invasion because he's in the closet waiting to kill the girl. And then these people home invade to break into still because there's $5 million in the house and the home safe. And now he's pissed off and starts killing these guys off. And the girl doesn't know who he is, so she's helping him. And we're like, as an audience, we're like, what the hell are you doing? So
he's there to kill you.
That's something that's not really been done. Is you're mishmashing the home invasion story with the serial killer story. You've got two groups of despicable villains going at each other. And
I like to call it lion versus jackals. You've seen that those clips on the internet where you're like, which one, the alligator or the lion is going to get the gazelle, and you want to see which bad guy is going to get it, or if the gazelle gets away. At the end,
it's the gazelle to get away, exactly. But is the gazelle going to be able to get away? That's the question, and it is really like a pack of hyenas, and the one giant crazy ghost in the darkness lion, psychopath lion, and you have this little bunny in the middle who has no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like From Dusk Till Dawn, where the first part of it's a crime movie, and then all of a sudden, bam, you're in a vampire movie. Yeah. Well, this one,
So would you consider Dusk Till Dawn to be like a layered horror film? Because Chilimboy asked, what's a layered horror film for you?
Yeah, that would kind of be like From Dusk Till Dawn, because it starts off as a crime movie, this get away, and all of a sudden you're in vampires. Boom. Like, what the hell did that come from?
I think that's part of the magic that me and William, finally hit on about 2 years ago. We were sitting out in my driveway after we went to a Danzig show or something, and we were talking about Caught in My Eye, and we were pitching it back and forth.
And we were driving, coming home from it.
Yeah, we kept saying I was like, let's revitalize Caught in My Eye, let's do that. And we're like, well, it's got to be different. It was just too straightforward. And I got a great book called, this is a cheat code, man. If you really want to understand cinema and movies, buy the book, Save the Cat. I love that book. I love it. The best book on script writing you're ever going to read. A lot of Hollywood people swear by it, and there's a good reason. And I've been rereading that book, and I have an Audible to listen to it in the background all the time. And it talks about these 12 genres or these tropes, and a big thing we were talking about. I was like, we gotta add, at least because you can do too. You can do like a buddy film and have it be an action film or whatever the other tropes are. And we were having this book, and I was like, well, what if we did Monster in the House? What if we changed it up? And he had a good idea he was thinking about. Before we knew it, we had this like we're sitting there going, yeah, like this is gonna work. Like, this is good. This is like, yeah, serial killer becomes monster in the house scenario, and now we got ourselves a movie. And I think a lot of good movies are going to do that. You're going to find them with a double thing happening instead of just buddy film, for example.
That's kind of what the Fear of the Walking Dead and The Walking Dead kind of do those as series, because you have your good guys, and then all of a sudden they go into a community, and now people change to who you think is.
That's the Negan effect, which
That's the
to me he was never a villain. He was my favorite character in there. So
yeah.
Negan was your favorite? Is that what you just said? That Negan was your favorite?
Negan was my favorite. I mean, I had no problem with him bashing in the dude's head. They killed his people. He had it coming.
Yeah.
He murdered.
He's a lot of fan favorite.
He did. He had his rules. He had his rules, and they broke their rules, and so that's what. And so.
But you know what made Negan is Jeffrey Dean Morgan has that Elvis factor, and I think if it wasn't him, no one would have cared. And that's again part of the cinema thing that we are doing as filmmaking, people that we are. We're trying to get that little magic spark in that film, whether it's Star Wars or Indiana Jones or Commando or whatever movie it is, Mike Myers. There's something that just has to spark. And I think with Negan, it was Jeffrey Dean Morgan's that character. That was a perfect moment in Miracle. And that's what we're all trying to do. We're trying to, lightning in a bottle. We're trying to capture it somewhere in our film to make that film something just like people latch onto. Like, I like Negan. I mean, I love Jeffrey Dean Morgan. He's fantastic.
He was the original Negan, but then they talked Negan's right here. No.
And
my goodness.
Lord Violence likes Negan.
Especially after I saw Chappelle do his version, I was hooked.
That was hilarious.
Oh man,
that's funny.
Hey, Darren, is there a genre that you would not
that,
shoot?
Oh.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Is there a genre that you would not shoot?
I would not shoot.
Yeah. Are you all things film? All things creative? Or is...
To be honest, I love flexing my cinema muscles now. I really do. I'm eager to film anything at this point for anybody. I finally have dialed in a level of understanding that's taken me a while to be what I would consider myself at least semi-professional.
Right.
So I'm excited to shoot whatever. And I want to just make anything I shoot, I want it to have that film cinema vibe when you watch it. I don't want to make content. I don't want to make YouTube. I want to make cinema. It seems to be dying because I think as the generations are getting younger and, as you get older, you step out of this business and this dream. And the younger people, there's a lot lost in translation now. They're not watching the stuff we all grew up watching. They don't understand. So they're only, we're trying to craft the stuff we saw, 10, 20 years before us. And now the people below us are trying to craft the stuff below us. And it's just like the game of telephone. It's the skills, the expertise is getting lost. And now they're just regurgitating down here. And I don't like it. I mean, it's a shame. It really is, because in another 20 years, I don't even know what the mainstream stuff's going to look like.
On that note, it's funny you mentioned that. We were talking about doing like a treasure hunter adventure thing. And I was talking to Paul about this, a friend of mine, Paul Stunt Guy. And he said he teaches stunt classes or fight choreography classes at an acting studio, I think Carol Hickey. And he said, my students have never seen Indiana Jones. And I was like, what? Yeah. And I was like, so what's their frame of reference for a Tomb Raider type movie? Like, what do they, is all they have Uncharted? Is that it?
Yeah.
Because what else?
Mummy?
Well, maybe the Mummy, but that's
maybe not. That's 20 years old.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's
not good references. Yeah, that's not good.
That's too old.
We're old, guys. No, hang it up.
I mean, their Indiana Jones reference would be Shia LaBeouf, which is pretty sad.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well,
y'all are messed
touching
up.
on
That
what he
man's
was
trying.
saying.
I like Shia. I'm just saying he's not Indiana Jones. That's why the torch wasn't passed and Harrison Ford came back.
That's
River
fair.
Phoenix
That's
was that person.
Yeah.
That he didn't get to do that.
Well, like he was saying, I think a lot of the problems now is the oversaturation as well. The invention of the DSLR camera was a great thing, but it was also the worst thing that could have happened to cinema, in my opinion.
Double-edged sword.
Because it's just because now there's so much of it, and that goes into the distribution market. We just distributed Butcher's Bluff, and it should be coming out. They haven't told me the exact release date yet, but I just did some press stuff for it, so it'll be coming pretty quick. But the process of getting that thing distributed, it was really a lot. There's so much out there that a lot of these companies now won't even watch your movie. I had a sales agent, which helped us tremendously get the film at least on the desks of a lot of these companies. But some of the bigger companies and Lionsgate, Blumhouse, all those, they don't even look at it. Even with the sales agent putting it in there, they didn't even look at it. They just said pass.
based on what though?
I guess our trailer. I guess either the poster or our stills. I don't know. Just being a slasher, they didn't want to do it. They are low budget, I guess. And then it goes back to also there's this look now that modern movies have. Now I'm going to go ahead. I'm not going to give my full thoughts on this film I watched last night. Called Mousetrap. Okay. Mousetrap.
Oh,
It's based off of Steamboat Willie, the Mickey Mouse. It became public domain, and they got $800,000 to make a film that is trash. I'll just say that, just because of the fact that it was obviously not thought through. They jumped on it because they wanted to be the first one to get it out, and you can tell.
there's a lot of that now.
I saw the trailers for that when I was watching Terrifier.
Yeah.
It looks ridiculous.
So it really had no plot. There was no rhyme or reason behind it. It explains nothing. It ends on is that really the ending? But then you look at how it's shot. It's not shot bad. It's just the look, the way they're lighting. Modern films light, how they light, and how the sharpness. They have this really. It's like their shutter speed is too high, and they're probably shooting 60 frames a second to get this whole, which you don't need in a horror movie.
No.
So it's the younger filmmaker not referencing the days behind. Now I'm okay, boomer. Okay, I'm a Gen Xer, all right? Don't call me a boomer. I'm not that old, okay?
I don't see the comments anywhere. There are comments.
I'm waiting.
The young guys are going, you're just old, don't understand it. It's true, but look at the movie shot in the 70s and the 80s and look at the movie shot now, and there's a completely different look. And a lot of that had to do with the film stock back then. They all had the same film stock because everything was shot on film. So we grew up with all of our movies kind of looking the same because they were all using the same type of film.
Yeah.
But there's a blurriness to film. It's not sharp.
My favorite era is the 30s and 40s type of thing. I'm the 30s, 40s, and 50s.
Yeah.
I love
There's
that.
a different look. And that
there is a different look.
It doesn't look real, and I don't think it should look real.
No.
Yeah.
It's cinema. It's fake. You want to escape. No one wants to go to a movie theater and be thinking, okay, this is what's going on outside right now.
Yeah.
We've become
it's becoming too video. Even though they're not shooting 30, it's the new video is what it is. And that's what we're seeing. People pass off cinema as new video, and it's like y'all are not crafting. Again, Hollywood, thank God, still does craft, even with digital stuff. They do it right. There's some great new movies that are digital, but they look cinematic. It just takes attention to understanding and detail, and then making sure you're keeping that vibe, because there's something about sitting in the theater or even at home and seeing what celluloid looked like. It was the 24 frames. It's the way the film looked. It's the cinema. You feel like you're watching a movie. It's almost dreamlike in a way. And like what William was saying too is like it's too vivid, it's too sharp, it's too lit, it's too video now. But a lot of people, especially the younger group, they don't know no different.
No.
They're
Okay.
That's our job. That's our
Go
job.
back to not having the references. They grew up with YouTube and reality TV, MTV shows, like the Jersey Shores and stuff like that. It's all shot on video cameras. So they grew up watching those things. My own daughter doesn't watch movies as much. I'm just like, come on, man, watch a movie. No, I don't like that. He wants to sit on TikTok and YouTube and watch things like that. Whereas, like, okay, that's just the new generation and what they're into. So, when we're old and crusty and can't do this anymore, that it's going to be the kids that are influenced by those films, the older films, that are going to be carrying the torch. And there's a lot of talented filmmakers out there. These kids, they're way smarter than we are in a lot of ways with technology. And so I know that they're out there, and that they're going to be those ones that look into the retro. That's one thing I've noticed. The mullet is coming back. The jean jacket is coming back.
It is.
Heavy metal is cutting back on the charts. I mean, kids are picking the guitar up again. So it's just like we had that phase where that wasn't cool what dad stuff was doing. But now you've got these new kids that are like, 14, 15 years old looking into the 80s now. They're like, oh, that was a cool era. Yeah. So hopefully it's going to be that generation that carries the torch and brings it all back around.
An actual guitar solo again.
Yes.
A quick comment. We got Eric Kelly on Instagram. He says short attention spans.
Absolutely. Everybody's on TikTok. Everybody's on their everything's instant gratification.
I have a 10-year-old son. The first question, if I ask him to go to the movies, is it the trailer? It's what's the running time?
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm busy, Father.
I don't want to spend 2 hours in a movie theater.
And by the way, I am super proud. I am super proud that I've convinced him to sit down, him and his 7-year-old brother, and watch Back to the Future with me, all three of them. Like, they will sit there and watch that with me. But boy, it's got to be something like that, or their attention is done and they're bored.
Yeah.
Well,
then I would love us to play the trailer for them.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that is I queued it up. It is ready to go.
Let me give it a little explanation of what this is, so you know what you're watching. It's a proof of concept trailer, kids. We didn't shoot this movie, so when you see this, you're like, "Oh, okay, the movie." No, what we shot was what you see. I mean, there's might be a little bit of extra part here or there of it, but we're pretty much just shot the scenes that are in here because we want to show you what we can do and what our idea is. But this is in no way the final footage of what we're going to be shooting. So this will give you an idea of what we're doing. We can talk after you play it.
Yeah, and it's 4 minutes, 56 seconds.
Hey,
So if you like it, you can check it out on YouTube and show us some love. Here we go.
What's your emergency? I killed her. She's dead. We got a body back there. Blonde, young, female. Fucking shame, man. Goddamn Goldilocks. Here she is. She's number 7. Now she's dead, but not in heaven.
It's not about sex to him. It's about something else. Something more powerful to him. Rose petals, a mask, all his MO.
This shit will haunt you. You don't want this guy living in your head.
This is his obsession. He'll never stop. He wants to be seen. He wants to feel important, like he's desired by women. The odds are he's already picked out his next victim. Goldilocks. Who are you?
I know it's secluded, but thank you so much for staying with Noah this weekend. Getting away with Jonathan's exactly what we needed.
It's no problem. I love your house.
Listen, you behave, okay? Okay.
Don't burn down my house, boy.
Don't worry about it. We'll be fine. You two go have fun.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey guys, it's me again. I'm currently babysitting at this big house in the middle of Nowheresville. Someone entertain me.
Did you hear that noise? Yeah, I heard something, but I didn't see anything. It's really creepy.
Because we can.
Please don't hurt us.
Your daddy, he took money that didn't belong to him. Go find the damn safe. Is there anybody else in this house? Find that motherfucker and kill him!
Why did you help me?
I like your hair. You left a message for us. What message? It says we're fucked.
Hey.
Well done, well done. So tell us some more about that experience and what we just watched there.
That took us over a year to make, man. To complete everything from start to finish. Yeah. Let's talk about Lexi Graves, man. She's a hell of a little actress, man. She came on board. We filmed a lot of the scenes with another actress, and we were going to use it and everything, but I really wanted to work with Lexi. And when I got the call that she's interested and wanted to do it, I was like, man, the character was supposed to be in her 20s, but why the hell not? Let's just make her a teenager, and let's get it for real. I try not to work with minors, but she's just so good. I was just like, we have to do it. So we ended up reshooting a bunch of stuff, which is why we took all the time. And it was good. One thing we learned is once we shoot something once, we come back and we get it better because we can look at it like, okay, we can do it. So it ended up looking a lot better. But a lot of the stuff is intercut, like when the presidents are walking through the door, that was shot completely different day with the first actress. And then we just intercut it in with stuff with Lexi and same location. So the lighting, we were able to get the lighting the same. So
you're not stuck to your. So you're shifting. You're able to shift. You're not committed to whatever you did before because you see something greater that you really wanted to see in product. So a lot of directors and cinematographers as well get stuck to, well, we shot this. I'm going to shelf this. I'm never going to do it again because, but I really wanted this.
Well, we haven't even really told you guys about the genesis of this film. I mean, we started this in 2011 as a short film. We didn't have a script really. We were just making stuff up. We had fun, and we did a Caught in My Eye that was kind of chaotic, and then we evolved. So yeah, I did shelf it because I didn't like it. It wasn't. It won a film festival. And I was like, this isn't good enough, man. The story's not good. It was shot well. It was shot with the technology that we had at the time. We shelved that thing.
It was just straightforward. We just had too straightforward an idea. Is what it was. It didn't have a.
Pulled it back off.
This wasn't as fleshed out. I rewatched it recently and I enjoyed it. There's a lot in there I loved, but
and some elements stayed. We kept a lot of the elements from that original, but now it's more of a complex story. Like you said, there's layers to it now. It's more flushed out. And I matured as a writer, and so I was able to sit around and come up with more interesting ideas at the time.
Cool. Eric Kelly says that sledge was close. Awesome camera work, sound on point. Love it. So as you can see, you're getting a lot of love from the crowd out here, which is cool.
Thank you.
To recap what William has said, we took a year to do it because me and him talked, and I said, look, if we do this, this is what I told William. I said, look, man, I'll shoot it. We'll shoot it. I said, but we have to come up with a trailer that just feels like a real movie that's already been made. I don't want to do anything less unless we have a pitch trailer that tricks people to thinking this movie's already been made. Because again, I know the bar is so high with the saturation out there. I was like, if we're going to ask for money from random people and anyone with some deep pockets, they need to be impressed. You're not selling them a garbage car. You're trying to sell them, a Corvette or something nicer. You better deliver that. You can't just bring out a jalopy. So it took us a year, and I was, we had our setbacks. We had things happen, and Lexi showed up, and we talked about that. And I was like, I said, she's got the Elvis factor, that one. It's cool. We got the super monster, but we need the super prey. And
getting the yang has to be just as powerful. So she brings it, man. Don't just say this. I do believe this girl's going to be something. She's going to take off.
Big potential.
Right. So,
for sure.
And like you said with the concept trailers, I did that with Butcher's Bluff. We talked about. I'll go back to what you were talking about. How I raised that money. We shot the Butcher's Bluff trailer in 4 days, and I used that as a publicity. People thought it was real. And
we did too. And I said, William, come up with the best trailer. And he went home and he worked hard. And he came back and said, look, man, we need these shots. I looked at this and we talked about it. I said, I said, that sounds great. That sounds like a trailer I would watch. And that's what we set out to do, was shoot a trailer that I would watch, he would watch, you would watch. And that's why we have this. And that's why we are getting money. We have gotten money. There's more money coming. And it's because we're showing that we have an expertise and we're professional. And I think that's what is required now to make the sale of getting money from people in their pockets. You can't it's not 20 years ago where everyone's just having fun. Oh yeah, make something, make this, make that. Oh, I'll support that. The internet's filled with, stuff now, people getting that money and people running out of that kind of fun idea. So we had to bring it. And William did a great job. He came back and said, this is what we need. And I said, all right, let's do it no matter how long it takes. And it took us a year.
It took that long because I had my setback. It wouldn't have taken that long. But I mean, I was out for 5 months.
Okay.
But look, we stuck to it no matter what the setback. We didn't let the idea die. We didn't let a horrible thing, almost tragedy, set us back. We stayed on course. We stayed on point. And that's a big thing too. I raced four-wheelers a few years back, and me and my buddy, we just said, we're going to commit to this 8 races. It took 6 months. It's like, we're not missing one. If we're going to race, we're committing. I was like, if I die, you're putting me on my quad and pushing me around, and that's basically what me and William have done. It's like, look, if we do this, we're doing this. We're not going to screw it up. We're not going to half-ass it. We're going to do our best every time. we need to make a trailer that says this movie needs to exist or it has already existed. And that's what we've done.
Yeah.
So that's actually part of one of the questions I have, as far as some of the talent you have, and you've mentioned how some of them got on this one because you used them in Butcher's Bluff and you had pre-existing relationships.
Mhm.
But some of the people that you have are, I mean, they're known in the space.
Right.
How did you acquire them? Was it going straight through their agents? Was it direct contact? Was it just a money factor? Or did you show them a trailer? Like what did you do to get these people to come on board of Caught My Eye that you didn't already have a relationship with?
None. Everybody's been I've worked with them all.
Okay.
Except for like trying to think of who we have on there that I haven't really worked with.
Let me revise that then.
Go ahead.
How did you get them originally to even work with you when you first met them? Because you have David Brewer, Jeremy London, Paul Taylor.
Brewer was interesting, but yeah, I get to that in a second. But okay, Paul is going to be the one that's easiest for everybody to do. I met Paul at a convention, Texas Frightmare, and walked up to him, said, "Hey, you're the new Pinhead. Cool. You live in Texas. Cool. You want to do an independent film?" He's like, "Maybe. Is it what, I need to read the script." I'm like, "Sure." And I pitched it to him right there. He goes, "Tell me a little bit about it." Told him what Butcher's Bluff was. So, and he goes, "I've never played a cop before." He goes, "I definitely never played a Texas cop, sheriff." He goes, "That sounds fun. Send me the script." Sent him the script.
Oh, okay.
2 days later, he was in.
So just to highlight, so you were in the space where the types of people you needed were, a convention, whatever. You had a pitch.
Yep.
It must have been pretty tight. And then you had a script that was readable and pretty good.
Yes.
And that's how you secured okay.
Yeah.
I had the picture of the Hogman, and that sold itself. If anybody saw the Hogman at Butcher's Bluff, I didn't need much of a pitch. Anyone who saw that costume was like, "Oh my God, that's terrifying." And I was like, "If your script's halfway good, I'm in." And when you said, all I would have to do is basically say, "Hey, I'm going to have over 30 kills in this. It's going to be practical effects, and it's going to be 80s style," and everybody was into it. I had Jeremy London before he even read the script because he just loved the idea. And with Jeremy, I just contacted him.
Wow.
I never met him before. Just contacted him, said, "Hey, I've got this. I got this cool scene. You want to be in the opening scene? It's a really fun scene, and the character is going to be fun to play." And he's like, "I'm in. Go ahead and send me the script, but I'm in."
When you say contacted him, you mean like you contacted his agent, or
No,
you contacted him?
I contacted him on Facebook.
On Facebook.
It's not. These are like she said earlier. We're all people.
Yeah.
We're just regular people. Just because somebody's got a cool job doesn't mean that they're not within reach. It just depends if they're going to read your stuff. Or a lot of them won't read if they don't have Messenger, and they're not going to read your messages.
Yeah.
Some do. So
Don't let
Some people don't have Messenger.
Oh.
So that's why you hit them up on Twitter. You hit them up on Instagram. You hit them up on all the. Like I'm having that situation with a particular talent right now that we're trying to get. She has her stuff is just blown up. She don't read messages, So, but I will have an opportunity to meet her in person in March, and I'm going to pitch it to her. So again, because you have convention, and I'm telling anybody, if you want to try to get actors, the actors want to work. Especially ones from the 80s and 90s that are, getting up there now. They had their limelight, their time, and the younger crowds now getting all the gigs. They're going indie now, and you can get them to come be in your films, and they're not going to kill your wallet because they love acting, and especially if you've got a good story,
And also, you said these are people who need to do more modern work because the up and coming directors, actors, whatever, they don't know them.
Yep. Like we said earlier, these kids don't know who they are. So a lot of times when I say, "Hey, I got Jeremy London," who's that? Have you seen Mallrats? No.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, great movie. You need to go watch it. It's Kevin Smith. Who's Kevin Smith? Like, what?
Oh no.
I'll add to that because sometimes what happens, right? You'll get somebody like that, bring them back, and then people will go back after they've seen your work and see that, and they'll be like, wow,
Yeah.
look at who he worked with, or look at who he brought back. And it's a really cool concept. I agree with that, William. And I think you have to also, what you're not saying, and you're selling yourself short, is to have the gumption, right? A lot of people say they're going to do what you just said, and then they see them right there, and they're like, oh, hey, Darren. Oh, hope you have a good day. And that's it. You know, you got to follow through, right? So
you can't
be ready for the rejection, I imagine.
Actor, you learn how to be taking rejection. When you go being an actor and going to auditions and hearing no all the time, you just get the thick skin. It doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, and actors want to work. You're right about that. And it's so flattering when somebody asks about that.
You just, you know, you have to
move on to the next one. That's it.
And so again, you know, that having those people helps out a lot with, you know, getting, like, you're going back to funding. When you have these people attached to your film, it can help you get funds through your crowdfunding and stuff like that. But it doesn't hurt to ask. I mean, all they can do is say no. And so
on that note of asking, since we have people in the chat who have an interest in working with you, we're not going to wait to the end. What's the best way for them to reach out to get a hold of you two in reference to Caught in My Eye?
Go to the Caught in My Eye page, the group. We post all of our stuff in there, all of our casting calls, everything will be in there. I mean, I'm going to just put it right now. If you 100% want to get in, I hate to pitch it, but we do have acting spots paid for play as on our Indiegogo, which is in demand right now, and you can buy yourself a spot on, guaranteed to be in the scenes, and we're going to give you a good role. But
you hate to pitch it, you should totally pitch it.
Well,
yes, that's why you're here. I'm a part of it, so yeah, totally.
Pay for play is kind of, as an actor, you're like, why the hell am I going to pay somebody to be in your movie? But then on the other hand, as a filmmaker,
we're funding
the film, and so I have to do it. But I think pay for play is great for people, especially in the beginning of their career. They're trying to get on these movies that are going to help them.
Look, Cynthia Rothrock did it on Black Creek. She had a bunch of 90s action stars in there, like I think Don Wilson's in there, etc.
Yes,
and
I saw that.
People can pay to get a role to fight, and next to the people that they love, and they're big heroes. So
So I mean, again, I don't down it. I know a lot of people have done it to build their resume up, and then they get to a certain point where, like, I'm not paying anymore, I'm going to do auditions, which is great. So I still put that as an option on our Indiegogo, because there are people that are trying to build their resume up that are talented actors, and no one's giving them a chance.
I mean, I don't know, I never thought of it that way, but pay to play isn't all that different than self-producing. I know, Darren, you talked about doing stuff because you wanted to act. How is it any different than producing your own project and spending, $1,000, $2,000?
It's not.
Especially invest in yourself. I mean, we all are. Just like I said, I just spent $400 yesterday on Amazon upgrading my already huge amount of audio equipment. Like, it is what it is. You're in it. You can't do this for free. And I wanted to add that don't let William fool you. He's a great producer. You wanted to know how he gets these people. William goes and puts his boots on the ground, and he grinds on the ground. That's what he does. And that's why I think he gets the people he gets, is he's in the trenches. He's not screwing around. And, like, again, he's not afraid to take a no, and he's not afraid to ask. And again, partly he's on the ground, he's in the trenches. And I think what a big thing that the horror community has that a drama community doesn't, or an action community, is there is a huge horror fan base that has horror comics. It is a giant club of people who like a certain genre. You don't have crime genre conventions, at least none I know of, So horror has that. That genre touches people in a certain way, and they want to go see it, trade it, touch it, talk it. And again, William, this is his arena. So he's on the ground, and he's in the trenches, and he's talking to everybody. Shameless self-promotion, shameless chatting it up. And that's how we're doing it. So I would say, if you want to get people, follow William's lead and be in the trenches, be in the fight. No armchair producing,
Well,
It's great that you guys have each other, by the way. That's so good that you have a team that supports each other like that. You guys should
yeah,
have that. Sounds like
yeah,
really, really good.
thank you. I mean, that's what you need. You can't do it by yourself. It's really not. It's not possible. I can add to that. Our latest success at a con was we got the bathroom cheerleader from Scream, Leonora Scelfo. I hope I was saying her last name right. We got her at Cult Classic in Bastrop. She was here. She's blonde.
Oh.
She fit the role of a character we were trying to get, and we were there this last year. And I was looking at her at the VIP party all day. And I said, "Hey,
were you being weird?"
I was like, I told Darren, I was like, what do you think about her? Well, yeah, I was just like thinking of we were like, okay, we need this character Phil, and she looked kind of like what I was thinking the character would look like. So I said, Darren, what do you think about that girl? And he's like, who's that? And it's like, I told him, he goes, well, yeah, I'll talk to her tomorrow. So I didn't want to go up because, again, this was a VIP party. I'm not going to go pitch at a VIP party. So I said, okay, tomorrow while she's at her table, I'm not going to be this guy that grows up, hey, my name's this and this. Let's work together. So I do it while they're at the table, and we had our tables were very close together. I do get tables at these conventions, too. That actually helps instead of just being a guy walking around and being a fan. You're respected a little bit more if you have a table and they look at you more as a peer. So I was able to point, hey, I'm right over there. I'm promoting my movie. Oh, what's your movie? Then I show them, which is Bluff.
Good move.
And then I show them, this is my next film. I'd like you to be in it. So then she was all like, oh, this sounds so cool. And then the next thing I know, she's like, I live in Texas. Okay.
Oh,
then awesome. I live 20 minutes from you. Okay. Let's meet at Starbucks. We had an hour meeting at Starbucks. She was cast. She took the role.
Wow.
She loved
Starbucks. Bravo. That's very good.
So
Starbucks.
That is great work.
We just went to Starbucks, had a coffee, talked about what the project was, what I was wanting to do. I gave her a little more details of what the script was before she even read it. She saw the proof of concept trailer, thought it was great. But there was a little bit more details that aren't in that script. And that proof of concept only scrapes the surface of what's really going on in that film. So I was able to give her some more of the nasties in there, and she thought it was awesome, and she came on board. And so it was great having her. And then that's, that's Scream is one of the biggest horror movies of all time. And even though she had a very small part in it, she was actually supposed to play Sidney Prescott. And she and was basically the runner-up for Sidney. And Wes wrote her that part because she did so well. They liked her so much that they're like, look, we're going to go ahead and just get you this small part in the bathroom, but we get you in the film. And so see, things can happen even when you're the runner-up. I mean, there's the whole look at Norman Reedus auditioned to be Merle in The Walking Dead. Daryl Dixon doesn't exist in the comic books.
Yeah,
Daryl Dixon only exists because of how strong of an audition Norman Reedus did for Merle.
Yeah.
He wasn't
I did
Rooker.
not know that.
He wasn't Rooker. No. When Rooker walked in the door, nobody else had a chance.
No, yeah. He's my favorite character. So yeah. I know that part.
Rooker's amazing. So
awesome.
Basically, when they had they're like, okay, well, we're not gonna not cast Michael Rooker. Well, Reedus is great. So we gotta fix something out. Yeah, he was only supposed to be a couple of episodes as Merle's brother, and the next thing you know, this guy takes off and becomes the face of the show.
Yeah, dude. I watched his spinoff as well.
Yeah.
So question for you. Question for you guys, as far as you're talking about conventions, are there any other places that you've been that might have been more conventional, like AFM or a specific any other specific film festivals that you found to be
Darren's been to that.
Productive?
I haven't. Tell him about that crap.
Oh, AFM?
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to already have a deal already pre-done. Okay. Yeah, it's more of just a kind of a meet and greet is my take on it. Yeah. It's a B-C movie, it's just a mixer, and you go hang on the boardwalk. We sold we made our deal with our distributor a month before we got to AFM, and that is AFM's instructions. When you pay for your pass, they send you a pamphlet or a download that says, hey, here's what you need to do. Reach out to all these companies and make your deal before you get here, because you're not gonna, this is just for you to meet them if you want to show up. So we had already made our deal with ITN. And when we got there, we went up to their booth in their room and hung out with them and chatted them up, shook their hands, and it was just fun. It was just more of a formality, but we had already made the deal weeks in advance. And that's how it worked for us with our action movie that me and Matt Borchers worked on called No Chance. So
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay, quick question.
Congrats.
Quick question to both of you. Did y'all ever have nightmares growing up?
I have them every night.
Yeah, I still have them. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I just really get curious on people who make horror films. If they have nightmares and they're scary.
By Nightmare on Elm Street, yes. I went and saw Babysitter. Babysitter took me in 1984 to see Nightmare on Elm Street in the theater. I was probably I was probably 6, maybe 7. And it was the 80s, And
she wanted to go and hang out. Yeah.
I was terrified, but I loved it. I don't know why. Okay. I was so scared. I liked being scared.
Okay.
I was 6 or 7 when I saw Alien, and I fell in love with Alien as a child. So. I love monsters. I love dinosaurs first, like 4 or 5 years old. Then I love Godzilla because he's the biggest dinosaur. And then I saw freaking Alien, and I was like, and I had seen other garbage, but even as a child, I knew that this was special cinema. Like, this is watching is not Star Trek, or Muppet Street or whatever. I'm watching something like I could tell as a child this was badass horror, and I guess I've liked it, something like that kind of horror ever since. So just impressed me.
Yeah.
Well, it's like Jaws. Jaws was the most terrifying movie I've ever seen. When I was a kid, I was scared of even getting a bathtub. I wouldn't get in a swimming pool. I didn't know.
I still don't go in the ocean to this day.
Is that the swimming?
This is why I don't swim. Well, that I almost went to the Gulf of Houston Bay. Long story. Back in the day, to keep a radio on, you used to keep your engine turned on. And my brother put the car in drive, and it went into the bay, hit a ship, and was hanging off of the edge of the. We almost went to the water, and we probably would have died. So ever since then, I'm like, I don't really like water.
No, I wouldn't either.
Ben likes water. Benjamin likes water, right, Ben?
Like is a strong word.
Did anyone? Do you think anyone caught you that you were the guy that got kicked in the pool in the trailer?
I did.
Well.
Yeah,
I did. I caught it.
If they know me very
He also
well,
delivers the last line in the Bill Clinton mask.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, really? Y'all didn't get that? Oh, my
I didn't know that. I didn't see the color. I was looking at the color of the neck. I didn't.
Yeah. I was a black guy playing the first black president.
The first black president was Clinton, so according to him.
That's so good.
Hey man, come on! I'm not going to get political here, but Clinton's
we're not.
That was good.
That's as close as I was getting. We're not.
Nobody does that roundhouse like him.
Yeah, we're trying to make money out here.
So I will want to show you this because this was added recently and it's not in the trailer. But this is the most terrifying character. Where's my camera?
Oh,
this is going to be the absolute scariest character in
Big
the whole
Rod.
film.
Big Rod. Okay, there it is. That is hilarious.
Hey, what's her name? What do you call her movie?
Hillary.
Hillary.
And I got a cool chick playing her. She's muscled up and tattooed.
Dude, I saw the picture.
Yeah, it's Constance Payne. She's out of Georgia. She does stuff. Yeah, she does stunt work and she does stuff
like that
scenes and stuff. And she's buff and so I decided we're gonna make Hillary a badass, and I'm gonna have her fight Goldilocks hand to hand.
Like it.
Wow.
You know what's funny about that, and this is actually a thing for me that I've always had an issue with in movies. It seems like in modern times we talk about a lot of body positivity, right? But if you ever notice, CrossFit women get absolutely no love. Fit, muscular women do not get shine, even in action movies like you would expect, which is wild to me. Like it blows my mind how
Gina Carano did.
Whoa,
finally,
wow.
right? But it's not as often or as common as you would think. You know, normally they have like a model playing some action tough guy, and I'm like, fine, that's cool, but like, there's some of these roles that are fit for a woman who's got some size to her. So I love the fact you cast people like Constance and Paige Stakely, who, you know, they got some muscles. We like it, you know.
Some power.
So appreciate that.
Power. And some
Believable
power.
I was going to bring up the whole the Killary thing. Again, that's evolution. She didn't exist in the first couple of things of the script, and didn't even exist in the trailer. I would have put her in there. Believe me. It just came. It came later on. I was just like, I want to have a mean, buff up chick that can rough up the babysitter.
Yeah.
And you know, because there's these guys, the other presidents, they kind of have a code. They're not there to even kill the guys. They're just thieves. All they're there to do is to rob the place. And so we have this small girl. They're not going to smack the girl around, but Killary will. So the other guys just like they give her the nod and she punch her in the stomach, you know, and it doesn't feel bad about it.
And again, what's good about that too is it's female on female violence, so that plays different than big guy beating up a little girl thing. And that's what we want to. We're very thoughtful. We're always looking about how to mess with the audience's mind, because that's really a big part of what you go to a movie to do. Is you're sitting there to be tricked. It's supposed to be magic. I mean, again, we're people are losing what cinema and film was. It needs to play. It needs to tap into your emotions. It has to. If you don't have an emotional response, just look at the paint dry, for God's sake. Why even watch a movie? You know? So if you can't yank people's sensibilities around, you know, you're not doing it right. And that's, again, a level of this understanding. We're getting older, and we've done this for a minute. And I think there was a quote I saw: "A fool who persists in his folly long enough becomes an expert." So, you know, not saying fools, but even someone who's a fool, as long as they do it long enough, they're going to figure out how to do it right, whatever it is they're doing. And I think we're just finally hitting there where we're seeing, again, like The Matrix. When I'm looking at a movie now, I mean, I'm screwed in the head because I'm just looking at where's the camera, where's it moving, where's the light, you know? Why did they frame it that way? Why did they block it that way? And that's all I'm watching. But I also enjoy it at that level because I'm seeing it under the Matrix code, and everyone else is just watching the explosions or whatever. But I'm like, oh, that was cool how they did that. Oh, that's why they did that. Or, oh, I like how they did that. And that's
we tend to ruin movies for people sometimes, the non-film people. My wife, like, oh my God, Erica watching a movie sometimes, she's worse than me. She's more critical than I'm. Like, Erica, it's fine. Just it's Fast and the Furious. Just stop trying to stop thinking. Yeah. But as far as the other projects you got going on, besides, actually, before we move on to that, what is the total budget you're trying to raise for Carmine? What is the actual goal?
There's tiers.
Okay.
You know, huh?
What's the minimum tier you need to?
No. Start with the top one, man, because that's what I want. I'm gonna keep my eye on the prize.
Okay. He's going with the top one. Our top one is $1 million.
Okay.
But we have a 500, we have a 250, and we have 150. And we have the worst case scenario, which means we lose a lot of people we have on there. And honestly, I'm not even going to say what that is. But let's just say that we made that trailer for $200.
Got it.
So we can do a lot of stuff with very little, but that's not what we want. Because, again, anybody can do that. And maybe we do it at a little bit higher level than anybody else, but we're trying to take it to the next level.
Yeah.
I would say my minimum where I'll be happy would be 250. 250,000.
Okay.
That's where I'd like to be, because that way we get Dave Brewer, who was the DP for Insidious, on board, and we're able to get licensing to do cover songs from popular songs that we're wanting to add onto the soundtrack. Where we will be able to have full gaffers and grip team there to light everything properly and to have the full sound mix and score done properly in a 5.1 surround sound mix. I mean, the problem is that, I mean, he said go big or go home. It's just like, you know, I'm not going to not make the film. We're going to make the movie for what we end up with. It's going to basically be kind of like we did with Butcher's Bluff. And the fact is, you kind of have a deadline. What we have at this deadline is what we have.
Mm-hmm.
And so then that's when we make the decisions at that point. Okay, we've waited this long, and this is all we've come up with, and it doesn't look like you're going to hit anymore, so let's just make it for what we have. Now, I'll put it this way. I'll have distribution no matter what. I've impressed the hell out of our distribution company. And yes, I see someone here should be advertising. Yeah. Well, that's where distribution comes in. They're putting in a lot of they put some skin in the game for advertisement for us. Awesome. So again, I've impressed our people at our distribution company. They've even mentioned possibly having me direct something that they're producing down the line. We haven't really gone too far into those details, but the CEO of the company brought it up, and so I didn't ask for it. He just asked, you know, if I'd be interested in doing a particular type of film and if I could shoot it in Texas on this particular type of budget, and I said yes. So I could do it. I didn't say he didn't. It's not that, but anyway, it's not here or there. We definitely have a home with them, which is something he has also said. No matter what we bring up, we have a home there. But I like to self-produce and open our options up. So we have those bigger distribution companies that can look at us. You know, everybody, my personal goal would be to get on A24. But, you know, that's almost impossible at our level to get on. But, I mean, it's almost impossible that we're alive right now, isn't it? So stranger things could happen.
Why? Can I ask why you think it's impossible at your level right now to get on with them?
Because again, the oversaturation of everybody's on the bandwagon trying to jump on them, and they produce their own films.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with Blumhouse. They produce their own films as well. So they usually have. Go ahead.
Sorry. To Darren's point earlier, you guys really have something. I was looking at your storytelling as we were watching your concept trailer. You have something that is a little bit different. I think so. I felt like as I was watching it. So that could kind of, in my opinion, for what it's worth, that can kind of set you apart for what it is that you're trying to do.
I hope so. A lot of it's just getting them, again, like I said earlier, just to get them to look at you. And if we can get through the front door, I think that's a different story.
So
I'm saying it's
in the community,
pay attention to you.
Yeah. So in the communities that we have, you know, we're you know, Generation X here as well. So, you know, a lot of us have tentacles that we don't necessarily, not all of us, but anyway, I'm not talking to you for that one. But yes,
Go ahead.
So we have tentacles in our worlds. How often are you reaching out across to your friends? You know, like, who do you know? Who's in your wheelhouse that maybe we don't know? How often is the sharing happening with that? Because I know for me that's not happening enough. You know, from the corporate world that I was in, I've got lots of tentacles. I don't call on them a lot, and I'm not asked to call on them a lot as well. But I know that I'm not the only one. And so I'm like, where are we lacking in our sharing of our resources that we need to do that more often?
I think personally it's about you have to impress people now. I mean, there's cool, you can share because it's just friendly and nice, but like you know, Keisha just said, she liked it. You know, she thought there's something special there, and that's again why me and William are all in. It's like we're believing in our project that someone at A24 who sees our finished product will want it. Like, I don't have one doubt in my mind. If this thing is 80% of what we've been imagining and talking about, I would say A24 would be insane not to freaking buy it from us.
It's
like,
just getting it on their radar. Yeah.
But we got to impress. We can't just be cool. We got to impress. Like, the world's full of cool now. You know, I mean, how much short order stuff is on your phone? You can't even share enough of it to your friends, you know. But when you find something really cool, that's when you got to do your tentacles. It's like, hey, this is really cool. Check this out. If you got money, get in on this.
I do feel that the world is selfish as well. The filmmakers I have encountered that do have connections to these places, regardless of what she said, how we do have a little bit of an edge over a lot of people with our storytelling and our way of capturing things. The people I know that do have those connections aren't willing to share with me because it would cut them out.
Interesting. So I'll say for me, for anything that whoever I might have in my wheelhouse that I don't necessarily call in all the time friends, what I want from people to even introduce that, you guys are kind of doing it. It's well, you know, you've been doing it. It's a nice package to go, I want this to look like their products and their marketing and their treatments and whatever the studios have that I don't necessarily want to do studio. I don't want to go there, but I want my product in their same
quality.
So I want to be able to go, and I've told this to Ben, is okay, if they ask me, what else do you have? I want to be able to come to them and go, well, I've got this team, I've got these guys over here, my buddies, they've got this, and this before. What else do you have? I've got this, and this. I want to be able to consistently bring something to them. And they know that we're not just playing here. We've always, and I know who's been playing.
Well, that's because you're a good person. You know, again, we're in an industry with a lot of snakes.
Yeah, we are.
There's a lot of snakes, and they only care about themselves, and that's how it is.
And I want to say some people, you know, just they are not producers. They are director filmmakers. And so they are thinking about, how do I get my thing done? Yep. Even if we're going from an unselfish perspective, a lot of people are not thinking of how to help. They're thinking of, how do I get my movie made that I've been working on for 2 to 3 years? And that's just not not their lane. They might do for you, but they're not going to promote for you. And it's unfortunate, but it's how some people are.
In my mind, I'm like, why not combine forces? You know what I mean? Why not? Mm-hmm. I know that takes trust, and I know that, you know, it takes a lot, and that's what I'm thinking. If somebody like those people that you said that have those connections and everything, I'm like, why would we not just come together?
Again, we're with the oversaturation of the arts. There's no money anymore, and it all comes down to greed, and they want to be able to get whatever bit of pennies that they can pull nowadays from these streaming sites. Nobody wants to share that.
That's true.
So that also comes down to it, is that it comes down to greed. With me now facing death, I don't care about money anymore. I care about legacy.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Wow. When you have the Grim Reaper sitting over your bed and you think you're going to die, and you think, okay, what have I fucking done? You know, money comes and goes. It means nothing. But you have to leave. I have to leave a legacy. I want to meet. You know, think about this. I'll say this. Ben will relate to this. People still talking about Bruce Lee, who died in 1973. He only lived 32 years in this world, and he only was in the limelight for a short amount of time. Like 6 years, people knew who he was. So in 6 years, he was able to create a legacy that will outlive all of us.
Exactly right.
So that's why that man is such an inspiration, is that people who understand Bruce Lee and understand everything he did was in this small little period of time.
It is actually funny. A lot of people who know me know this, but my mother died of cancer when I was like 25. My dad died of cancer when I was 6. My mom was 50 and my dad was 40 years old. I'm 40 years old. So weirdly enough, I'm incredibly aware that we don't have an infinite amount of time on this earth to do the things we want to do. And I think a lot of people forget that. I think that I'll just do that later. I'll get to that later. I'll get to my dream later. And for people like me, people like you who've seen death up close like that, we realize that you don't have as much time as you think that you have. And I try to remind people of that all of the time. I'm like, I know it feels like you have forever, but you don't. So you better get busy doing whatever it is you think is important. And what if tomorrow is the last day? Do you have something, like you said, that what are your kids going to look back on and be proud of you for? What is your dad going to look and say, hey, that my son did X? Now, for some people, these things don't matter. If your mom ever gets to give you a congratulations, but that's one of the things I try to tell people, dude, don't you want to do something like dope where your parents get to pat you in the back and talk to their friends and say how proud they are that you did X? You better do it before they're gone, because I can tell you from personal experience, you don't get that. There is no substitute from someone else than that moment from your parents when they say, like, job well done. So that's my small.
We got dark there for a minute. My brothers, I had 3 brothers, and they all died a year apart from each other. And I will say this, like what you said, my first brother that died that was closest to me, the last day on earth, we made plans for the next day. Oh, I'll see you tomorrow. We're gonna go do this. Tomorrow didn't come.
Yeah, wow.
So that you hit it right on the head. When you deal with there was 4 of us. I'm the only one left, and so they all died. And it's just like, yeah, they all had plans. Everybody has plans, but if you don't do it, it might never get done. And so again, when I was the last man standing and laying in that bed and thinking, no, hell no, I'm not dying. I got to live, And so I have purpose. So every day that I wake up is a day that I'm out there doing something. Like right now, even though we're just sitting here having a conversation, if my words inspired one person out there to pick up a camera and go do something right instead of, or hey, if this guy can do it, I can do it, then it was worth my while. I give free lectures at conventions on how to raise money for films, even though I'm not that great at it anymore. I did pretty well with Butcher's Bluff, but I had 4 years to do it. Yeah. So we've raised about $12,000 right now in a month, a little over a month on our Indiegogo, which is, I made that in 15 minutes on Butcher's Bluff. The first day, I made $15,000 in the first day in about 15 minutes.
Absolutely.
Whoa.
So, but I had 4 years. Again, I was going to conventions. I was wearing the costume. I had a fake trailer. I had poster art that I was giving away for free. And I had people, hey, this is my movie. This is my movie. Hey, let me follow me. I created a group.
I like that.
And people were following the group, and I was posting on it all the time. And I had about 2 months of promoting, like, hey, we're going to do this Indiegogo on October 4th. Y'all guys need to get here. I'm going to do all. I started, so I did all this stuff. And so that first initial launch, boom, I mean, it took off. And it was because we had 4 years. If I had 4 years for Cotton Eye, I would have been doing the same thing. But again, when you don't know how much time you have, which again, let me reiterate that I have no expiration date, but we all have an expiration date.
Yeah.
But I don't have anything on a calendar, so people don't think I'm dying or anything. I'm in the clear, but we all are dying eventually. And so you don't know. So if you live every day not knowing, see, Darren prays to die every day. So he's a different he said, please just kill me now. I'm the total opposite. I was like, give me another day because I need to get out there and get this stuff done. And so you need that motivation. That. I think that if there's, I'm not a country fan by any chance, but my mom listened to country music, and there was this song with Tim McGraw that said, "Live like you're dying."
Yeah.
The lyrics to that song is just like, Jesus Christ, that might be the realest thing I ever heard. And then when it hits you, and when you walk down that path, you're like, holy crap, he's right. Again, thankfully, I wasn't in that bad of shape. I was never told, hey, this is this. This is like it was like, hey, you got this. Let's go cut it out. 3 days later, I'm cured. So it's like I didn't go the challenge. I didn't go the challenge of some of the other people who fight it for years. I was done in 3 days. So I was very, 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 very lucky. But those 3 days were enough for me to say hell no. So again, every day is a motivation for me to get up, get out there, kick ass, and do what I love. And I hope that other people can have that passion in their life. And I'm an open book. So again, when I go to these on these podcasts or conventions, I'm easy to find online. If anybody's got a question, if I can answer it, I will. Or if I don't know, I might know somebody who does. And I'll definitely pass you on.
I see some people reaching out. Said they're reaching out to you on Insta. So check your Instagrams. You guys got some new fans, possible coworkers. On the note, you talked about something there with the dreams, right? We're talking about like chasing the dream for real. I've always said that if you don't know what your dream is, it can't come true. So on that note, since we don't know how much time we got, if money was not an issue, getting the IP was not an issue, there was no limit on what you could pull off, what project, what IP would you revitalize? What movie would you shoot? Yours or someone else's, if money was not an issue?
You go first.
Man, what would I shoot? Money wasn't an issue.
Yeah, and get any actor, any location, any IP.
Like remake it. Like just do a reboot. Or
if
what?
You want to do that, if it's a movie you have in the back of your mind, then you can say that too. But
or just if unlimited money, just make something like a passion project.
It's pure passion. You don't have to make any of the money back. What are you making? Are you going to reboot Star Wars? Are you going to do an original, Darren original? What's happening?
I mean, just what came to mind. I mean, there's probably a ton of ideas that I could pick out, but what came to mind was really what launched me into probably cinema as a child was when I was like 8 years old. I remember it. I was at my grandpa's house and I saw Conan the Destroyer. I saw Arnold Schwarzenegger swinging a sword as a barbarian. And I've always wanted to achieve that, even to this day. And even with right now with my other business people at Bad Bueno, we're talking about doing this barbarian short, called Conan with a K or whatever, kind of a spoofy thing. But we're finally going to hopefully do a little bit of that. And obviously Ben's going to be involved in that. But if I had a limited budget, I'd do Conan. But that movie it'd be sacrilege to touch it, really. To be honest, even as much as I wouldn't want to play the barbarian, I'm not even qualified, really, to be honest. But honestly, right now I'm so focused on Caught My Eye. If I had a limited budget, I'd put all the money. If I had a film budget, it would go into Caught My Eye. We're just gonna fucking make the coolest, most iconic, badass, layered serial killer film ever, and we're gonna have a fucking franchise. You know what I'm saying?
So Darren, I'm a little disappointed, Darren. I swore you were gonna pick Terminator.
There's just some films you shouldn't touch, but he gave the right answer. He gave the right answer for sure as far as putting it all into Caught My Eye. But I will answer this as I wrote a script with my writing partner before Butcher's Bluff of the Western. It's the Punisher set during the Civil War, and it's based off of a real person. And he's kind of lost in history. It's called 36 Notches. And we've won multiple awards for the script, but it would need millions and millions to make because again, it's a period piece. It's gory. It's basically again the Punisher set in Civil War times. It's based off of a real guy who really did this because of what happened to his kids. And his rifle has 36 carved notches in it, and it's in a museum. I saw the story behind it, and we wrote a fictional story based off of a real guy. And he leaves Bible verses of Old Testament wrath of God, stuff written in blood after he kills Union officers for what they did to his boys.
Wow.
So it's pretty messed up, but he's a hero though. He's not a bad guy. He just lost it. He lost everything. And he was a tobacco farmer. He wasn't a soldier. He had nothing to do with the war. He had nothing. He was a tobacco farmer.
Wow. It's like that Jackie Chan movie. What was that one called again? what was it's the one where he plays. He's like somebody's dad or something who starts hurting people, and he wasn't a bad guy to begin. I forget what it was. It was a really good movie with Jackie Chan playing a very dark character.
That would be cool.
Revenge.
I haven't seen that, but that's one I've always wanted to make. We kind of wrote it with the intentions of selling it because I usually write scripts that I can make, so I'm very cautious of the budget. And but this we had no budget restrictions because we wanted to like see if we could sell it. But then I loved it so much, I'm kind of like, I don't even really want to put this on the market. I kind of hope that I can make something of myself and then eventually get to make this Western, because believe it or not, I really like Westerns.
Okay.
So
yeah. I mean, I would
we
not,
have four,
not
we
be
have
able to
four
tell.
horses out here. I have horses. I got ponies, and we're about to get a donkey. I got goats. I mean, it's the donkey keeps away the coyotes. So I don't know if y'all know that, but a donkey will kill any coyote that comes in the field.
No, never knew that.
Donkeys are badasses. So and the
I
goats
need
are
donkeys in my neighborhood then.
goats are so yeah, it's and my daughter rode horses and stuff, and so I've always kind of been around the horse riding community, and my grandpa used to watch Westerns, and I think, Outlaw Josie Wales and Tombstone are like Unforgiven are some of my favorite movies. So these Western films, Pale Rider. I love Clint Eastwood, so
Oh yeah.
he's just a badass. So
to that point, I'm going to take Ben's question and turn it a little bit on its head. And
Sure.
if there was any, say, like an action movie or a horror movie or action horror movie that you absolutely would not touch at all, like to touch it, you think that would just do it a disservice, it would not be done well or whatever, what would that be? And whoever wants to go first, you can bounce.
I think me and Darren are going to have the same answer, but you go first because I think I know what it is.
I already went first. You go first.
Well, the movie that should never ever be touched is Predator, because it can't be reproduced. It can't. You can't have Schwarzenegger, Carl Weathers, God rest his soul, and you got Jesse Ventura. Look at the testosterone in that film.
Yeah.
The Big Sonny, the Indian, and that's not the right way to call him, but the native. They made a spoof of Predator, but come on, I'm talking about the real, like a serious trying to reboot Predator. It can't be done.
Yeah.
Okay.
As far as a horror movie, they've already done that. Nightmare on Elm Street should have never been touched.
The Native American version of Predator was pretty cool, though. When they did the series, I loved it. Actually, no, you didn't like it. I loved it. I like that backstory.
He's like, I said what I said.
But, I mean, let me get it this way. I like Alien versus Predator. I think that's cool, but I'm talking as a standalone movie where you try to put the guys and recast Dutch and recast Dylan. It's not happening.
Oh no, they stay that way. No, I just like it.
Predator cannot be rebooted. It cannot be changed. Those characters cannot be played by anybody else.
That's one of the things.
You gotta leave that one.
It's one of those magical moments in cinema is the birth of Predator. It will never happen again. That was, and again, this is part of the thing I geek out on. It's like the right director, the right producers, the right actors, the right script, the right camera guy, and then the right demand. It all has to converge for this thing to be born. So cinema is such, I used to be in bands, and I kind of gave up because I said a band only takes 4 assholes that won't disassemble. As long as these 4 assholes stay together, in a decade, you'll have a couple albums. You'll be all right, But I switched over to cinema, and I'm like, wait a minute, I need like 20, 30 assholes and millions of dollars to make this thing happen. So it's like I switched it in the most complicated art form possible. And that might be why we have a interview right now. We're talking about the complexity of what is filmmaking and cinema. It is so complex to birth it and then for it to matter on top. And Predator is one of those movies.
So your answer is the same as his, is Predator.
Yeah, why not? Let's do it. We'll both be
I want to know everybody else's now. So I'm going to go Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I think it's one of the best movies I've ever seen in my entire life. I don't even like making movies like that. I have no desire to make a movie in that style, but it is one of the flat out best films. That and Lord of the Rings 1.
Yeah, I was going to say Lord of the Rings can't be redone.
Don't do it. Just don't do it. You're not going to do it any better.
Can't be.
I don't care if the VFX are better. I don't want more action. I don't want anything. Just
Nothing's perfect.
Leave those two
I'm
alone.
like totally off the. I won't even go to action. I'm like singing in the rain in My Fair Lady. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're going that route, you got to bring up Rocky because no one could play that but Stallone.
Oh, Rocky's fantastic. Yeah, Rocky. Yeah.
I have so many movies that I think that they shouldn't touch, and they're like touching them all. So I don't even know what. I don't know what my answer is.
And they
Like,
shouldn't be doing that. That's good.
I already said mine earlier, so I'll stick to it.
The Terminator?
No, Back to the Future.
Oh, yeah. You
can't touch those movies. There's no way.
They want to, though.
They're going to redo Gremlins. They're going to redo Gremlins with VFX. Watch.
Here's the thing he was saying, and you mentioned Back to the Future, and we mentioned Predator. Those movies were very different movies because the Predator was Van Damme.
Yeah,
a guy that's 5'9" and maybe 170 pounds soaking wet. Against Arnold, no. Arnold would destroy him. But you get Harry and the Hendersons in there, it makes Arnold look like a little midget, and then it works.
Yeah.
Back to the Future was Eric Stoltz. So Eric Stoltz was an excellent actor, but didn't have the comedy that Michael J. Fox had.
Yeah.
So movies would have got released with the original actors. They probably wouldn't be the hits that they were.
No way.
And the Predator costume looked like a freaking crab. You know, it wasn't until
the costume wasn't good.
Van Damme bowed out, and then they just reinvented the Predator quickly within 2 weeks.
Yep.
And there you go. Now you got like 9 films with the Predator in it. And hell, there's 1,000 Predator forums where people dress up as the Predator now. It's because
but the funny part about that is, the costume looks cool and the crab and the whatever, but it's the noise that really messes with her. You hear that damn noise, I don't even need to see it. I don't need to see the Predator. I hear that noise.
There's no effects to that voice. You do that that's a voice actor that can make that without any effects.
That's crazy.
There's footage of him with the microphone showing that sound, the Predator sound that he does without any effects.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah.
No, there's I'm trying to remember. There's a gentleman I met. I'm trying to remember if he had. I thought he was in Predator or he did something in Predator. There's a stunt guy, VFX guy, at TRF, who had a bunch of memorabilia from a bunch of movies. If it's him, I'm gonna reach out to him because that's kind of funny.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, I think he said he was involved in that, but I have to verify that. I didn't know where we're going there, so I'm not prepped for that one.
Yeah.
Let me think. What else do we have for you? That was no.
Van Damme purposely got himself fired from Predator because he was afraid that when they found out that he wasn't speaking, that he wouldn't have got his role in Bloodsport. He used the fact that he was in Schwarzenegger's movie, he was the villain in Schwarzenegger's movie, to get Bloodsport. And when they realized they weren't going to see his face and he didn't speak, Carl Weathers told him to get fired.
I think also there was a conflict. Like they were going to go into production on Bloodsport, he would have missed out. So I think he had to get out of Predator to get in his own film too.
Well, according to Tong Po, who was Van Damme's best friend, basically said, he was on set with Van Damme while they were making Predator, and he said the whole situation of what happened. Basically, he was going to quit, and Carl Weathers told him not to quit; it would ruin him to get fired.
Wow.
He goes, so be a pansy boy, complain, make sure you can't do this, don't be able to do the job, so they can fire you.
Wow.
And Van Damme kept telling everybody that if he did what they told him to do in that suit, he was going to get hurt. And he had Bloodsport coming up, and apparently after he got fired, they didn't replace him right away. They replaced him with someone of the same size and the same costume. The guy broke his leg. And if Van Damme would have broke his leg, history wouldn't have been made. Bloodsport wouldn't exist. So everything happens. Again, things happen for a reason.
There's a magic. There's just a magic. So again, if your film gets made, it's a miracle. It really is.
Yeah, I have props for anybody who finishes anything, but in reference to them touching old movies, I mean, the Gladiator movie just came out. Has anybody seen that?
I didn't want it.
Nobody.
Why
No
bother?
one watched it.
No, why bother?
Yeah, I'm going to see it. I'm going to go see it. I'm going to see it. I have to see it. See what it's doing. Because the Gladiator is one of those movies actually that shouldn't be touched.
No Russell Crowe, no Joaquin Phoenix.
No. A, B, or C. What would you rate it out of A, B, C, D? What do you call it? What is it, Ben?
What, number 2?
Yeah. What would you rate number 2?
Oh, you've seen it.
It's a C.
C. Yeah, there you go. Why go to the theater for a C? You know?
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping, and I'm gonna do an actual episode and talk about it a little bit later. But I was hoping it was gonna be better than it was.
Yeah.
But I just think the leading man, he didn't have.
He doesn't have it.
Crowe.
Yeah. Doesn't have the X factor.
Russell Crowe, yeah. And again, it's Pedro Pascal, great actor. He's not Joaquin Phoenix.
No.
Yeah. And
Phoenix was so hated, and the way he pulled off, you hated him in that movie.
Well,
yes, he did.
They're doing a lot of things with people where they're not they're not even wanting them to be true villains anymore a lot of times.
Yeah.
So I don't want to give this story away for anybody who hasn't seen it, but I will say Pedro Pascal was not playing the same role you would think he's playing from the trailer.
Right.
Oh, okay.
It's not. It is similar to the first movie, but not exact. I didn't think it was going to be related at all, and it is tied together. It's definitely a sequel.
Yeah, I know the story behind it and how it's tied together. Yeah.
Yeah. And I will say there's some gory things.
Yeah.
There's some gory things. I will say there's some incredibly violent parts of that movie, and I was like, ooh, like they did that part well on some of it. But I wasn't into it. I wasn't into it the way I was Gladiator. So
there it is, folks.
Gladiator is one of those movies that it's perfect the way it is, you know. And I think that's a lot of things. Is movies are made, they're made perfect, and there's no reason to touch them. But yet Hollywood keeps, instead of putting money into talented writers and independent filmmakers. Come up with stuff and give us a budget and let us do something original, they won't take a risk on it. But yet, sorry, but Disney just keeps putting out bombs. They just bomb and bomb and bomb and bomb and bomb, and they don't learn from their mistakes. Nobody wants to see that. And
here's
so,
also the big problem with Hollywood is, I mean, one, they're going under. And if you know people in the industry, they'll tell you Hollywood's going under, and probably COVID shutting down the theaters was a huge start to that, that snowball. But what Hollywood does is they want to remake things because they're what's called a pre-sold franchise. If I make Batman 12, you already know it's Batman like the other 11, and people are going to go see Batman 12, even if it's number 12. Star Wars 19, it's Star Wars. So they don't want to gamble, on another new idea and have it flop, but they're gambling on pre-sold franchises with incompetent people, and it still flops or halfway flops now, while they're tainting our memories, and our future at the same time. It's horrible. But they don't want to gamble with $100 million or $400 million. They want to get a pre-sold franchise, Gremlins digital. That's what they want to do, and it's sad, but that's just the way the big budget goes. So hopefully what's happening is these big budget studios are collapsing. We're going to disseminate and hopefully come into independent territory and lift some of us up. And maybe on a bright side, there could be a new era on a bright side, if we're optimistic, that these bigger companies are collapsing with still some money in their pockets, and they're going to lift up some indie original ideas. And we might have, you could have a new era of cinema, really, if that happens fully. But we're going to have to pay attention and see. And again, me and William are trying to pioneer into that. Like, hey, we're two indie guys with a great idea. Give us just a trickle of that money you would have put to a $300 million budget. Give us $1 million and let us make you 20, So hopefully that's what's going to happen, because we are not relying on crowdfunding. That's just a fact of the matter. We did crowdfunding as just a procedure to get bigger budget, because
advertisement mostly, it's just getting people fun and involved.
He grind for 4 years in advance. I mean, he was in trenches 4 years in advance to get a huge crowdfund success with Butcher's Bluff. And that's, if you want to know the magic for that, it's 4 years of advanced pre-work to get
right.
that crowdfunding success that he got. We jumped into Caught in My Eye. Thank God we made budget, And so it might be a little slower start, but we came in strong with no 4 years of pre-planning, just our trailer concept, and thank God we made budget on that. But, and again, whatever work he had done has trickled over as well. So, that's success building on success. But the whole point of what we're doing is we are looking for the deep pockets. We do want someone to drop $100K, $200K into this project. But if we can't show them that at least $15,000 worth of random strangers believe in us, how are they going to drop me 100,000, Yeah. So we're kind of doing the crowdfunding as a formality. We're not putting our eggs in that basket. We're about, again, it's also building this mountain of information and inertia with the crowdfund. So when we start hitting the people with deep pockets, we got the short film in festivals. We got the trailer. We got the pitch deck. We got the money in our pocket from the crowdfund. So we got this whole thing to show an investor, because that's really how you get things really made. You get real investors. You don't just crowdfund and hope for the best. We do have a bigger plan to get bigger dollars into this, and there are gears turning right now. And again, a podcast like this helps. It lets our investors hopefully maybe watch this. If they want to know more we don't provide, they can watch this podcast, get to know us. And I think something I saw Anthony Hopkins say on a little damn TikTok or whatever is believe, believe, believe in it, believe in yourself, believe in your idea, So I think
even with the accent, yes.
Yeah, I think that's the matter, is we are going to believe in Caught in My Eye. And that's sales, man. You're not selling a product, you're selling belief. You're selling belief in something. This car is going to make your life better. This is super fast. This is super made of titanium. This stupid Tesla drives itself. Whatever it is, you're selling belief. And that's what cinema, if people want to understand how to make money, you have to sell your money, your movie. You're either selling a script, or you're selling yourself as the director, or you're selling the whole package, but we're selling something that should make a return, and we're also selling the glamour. We're selling the glitz. We're selling the fun, at least it used to be. Now anyone can just take a cell phone and make a little dumb TikTok, but it used to be the glamour of being part of a Hollywood production. What are you doing? Oh, I'm a producer, produce this. That's cool. Go to the party, go to the gala. That's what we are selling. So again, I think independent filmmakers need to think bigger. It's one thing, like, William started out with John, $4,000 and made his feature. Cool. You got to do that because you learn a insurmountable amount of information and knowledge from that. But when you want to be serious, you got to step it up, and you got to play bigger, and watch those DVD extras on Terminator and James Cameron or Alien. Watch, because those were their breakout films, before they might have done 1 or 2 or 0. Look at John Carpenter. Some of these people mortgage their houses and believe in their idea. Look at Evil Dead guys, the Sam Raimis. Sometimes people max out every credit card and their family's credit cards to bring the belief. They believe in the idea so much they're going to go into complete debt. I'm not saying it's a good idea, but you got to have that belief. And we're grinding hard. I'm dropping more money. I'll buying like, maybe this microphone will be just a tad bit better, and it'll step us up just a little bit more notch. So when someone watches a trailer, it just sounds a little more Hollywood, because I just want that. I want every inch of cinematic, solidness that I can attain, and so we're grinding. And that's
y'all definitely have been grinding away. So
we need to cut all of that, because there's a lot of excerpts from grinding hard that we can really make, like however we want. You can really pitch this, all right?
Yeah, for real.
He mentioned the pitch deck, and I think anybody watching that is making films, make sure you have a good pitch deck. That's one thing. I spent a long time making us a really solid pitch deck that we're going to be using for that.
Amen to that. I hear that.
So it's definitely something that indie filmmakers need to look more into, is getting that done, because it really shows that you're a professional. You've thought this out. You've got your budget broke down. You got the who's, the whys, the where's, the wins, all that laid out. So if you've only got 10 seconds, 15 seconds to pitch somebody, well, here, everything you need to know is right here. Within these 20 pages, you got the whole breakdown of what this is. And so with us, we'll have the pitch deck. Okay, this looks good. If maybe they don't look at the pitch deck, maybe they just watch the trailer. Like you said, that trailer, like, okay, now I'm interested. Now they can see what is it you need. Instead of saying, hey, William, what do you need for this? They just, before they make that phone call, they can look, okay, they want $250,000. I can do that. Let's give them a call. Or, no, that's not in my wheelhouse. I can't afford that next. So nobody's time is being wasted.
Yeah.
Got it.
So,
Yeah,
and
for
if
sure.
you want to make one, you can make it for free. Go to canva.com. Free, and you can make your pitch deck, and they're professional looking, and that's a way to save money. Do it yourself.
All right, so we got to reach out to Canva to see if they'll sponsor the show.
Yeah.
And,
Canva.
see what we can do.
That's right.
On that note, let me see if I can do this, and it'll let me look at it. So I want to take a shout out to some of our sponsors. 3R Productions. We got Meridian High, Ballistic Blaze, Zachary Sells Photography, Shot Lister, Ming House, Kitty R Blue, Awesome Movie Gear, ILoveYourMoney.net, Women in Film TV Austin, Scriptation, and Writer Duet. Thank you all for helping us make this a possibility. It's because we are not grant funded at this point in time. This is all out of our pockets. The podcast, the festival, all the things we're doing is to help people like William Instone and Darren talk about projects like this, promote them, get all that information out to you, and for our film friends, our film fam, to learn from these people, because these guys will come back and share what they learned in the trenches, what they learned at AFM, what they learned about distribution, fundraising. So support your local artists. These are the people we need to come back and tell us how we can do what we're trying to do correctly, because the whole point is to do what William's talking about right now. We want filmmakers to make a living doing the things that they actually feel called and love doing. If it's film, you want to make your money in film, not be a weekend warrior. So podcasts like this allow us to try to facilitate that process for everyone involved, including ourselves, because we are also filmmakers. So did anybody have any questions, any final comments or anything before we wrap this up? Because you guys have been going strong for like 2 hours.
Yeah, baby.
Well, we can talk. I mean, I talked for a living for 22 years. So I was a DJ, and that's what I can do. That's I have the gift of gab. And I think that's another thing you need to have if you're going to be pitching to people to be in your film. Talk about it. Be passionate about it. Believe in it, like he said. Being able to talk is important. So, with that being said, Caught My Eye at Facebook.com. You can follow the group. Caught My Eye Movie. You can like that, and that would be great. And you can check us out on Indiegogo. Our Indiegogo is in demand. We have $12,000 right now. We can continue to raise money. We have awesome perks on there. We have opportunities to act in the film, to be a producer. You want a T-shirt, DVD, Blu-ray. We have custom masks. Darren's been working on making masks. That's one of the masks that he's made as a replica of the actual original mask, where they're made of leather. So they're durable, they're light. We also have plaster wall hangings, the same thing that hang on the wall, and you can decorate with those. We have different sizes, 3 different sizes of that. We have just lots of different things that you can get. There you go. See right there? That's one of the plasters. Yeah. So you show them the back. It's solid.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So and they're solid.
Yeah. Hangs on the wall.
So we've got
a cool collector item. It's an exact copy of the mask worn in the movie. So how cool is that? And handmade by me. So I mean, this hopefully if our movie gets made, these will be collector's items. I mean, how cool is that, right? And I made
the merch.
Terrible leather versions of the resin ones.
Whoa.
So,
you can wear it.
I'm planning on hopefully in the movie wearing a couple of these different versions I made. So
we're going to be selling screen used masks that are worn in the film. He has fantasy girls that wear these little white clear masks that he puts on the dead bodies. We're selling the masks that the actresses wear. So we have a lot of cool perks on there. So I mean, you guys could check it out. There he goes. But you've got to support indie films. I mean, they can't get made unless we like you said, get shows that people are interested in seeing it made. Again, we're not relying on the Indiegogo for the funds, all of our funds, but it does help to have a little bit to get more. We do have a few sources where outside funding will come in to get our budget higher. And having a proven director of photography that's done, worked with James Wan and Insidious is going to really help make sure our film looks top notch. So it's going to look good. It's going to sound good. We have a cool killer. We're going to have really good effects. We have a good storyline, and we're pushing some envelopes. I mean, it's going to be pretty disturbing, and especially if you're a woman that lives by yourself, it's going to be terrifying for you.
It's a stalker movie. I mean, it's a stalker serial killer film that turns into a complete disaster murder fest halfway through, where it's just, you see it's just the worst. I think a big thing I love about the idea is I'm tired of seeing serial killers just kill weak prey. They just sneak up and kill. You even saw Dexter do it for 12 seasons or whatever. And, we've seen all these killers just killing whoever, sneaking around, and just like, no, I want to see a psychopath who's out of control kill other people that you would be scared of. I want this guy to put fear in everybody. You don't want to cross this maniac at any level, but he starts out obviously hunting down women and stalking them, but he doesn't stop there. He really is a menace. We have a great backstory that's very believable.
Motive.
So he's not just a Mike Myers who's like a demon or a ghost or I don't know what he is. This is a believable psychopath who's juiced up, muscled up, methed out, psychotic, and he's capable. And, this is a legitimate fear. Like, this feels real, not just a supernatural killer with a mask. I don't know what Art the Clown is. I don't even know. Is he a demon? What is he? Is he
He's a
clay?
demon.
I don't know what it is.
He's a demon.
So this guy's physical. Like, he might be your neighbor. It's kind of like Buffalo Bill meets Mike Myers, really. Yeah. This is like the Buffalo Bill we all wanted. We got to see just a little taste of crazy Buffalo Bill, but we wanted to see him really jacked up and out of his mind,
Gotcha.
He's heavily inspired by the real killer BTK, Bind, Torture, Kill. He was an active serial killer from the 1970s all the way to the 90s.
Yeah.
And they couldn't catch him. The only reason they caught him was his arrogance. Technology caught up to him.
Right.
But he did very perverse and strange things after the body. He didn't sexually assault any of his victims. So that's one thing. Goldilocks doesn't rape. He doesn't do any of those things. It's about the kill. It's about the hunt. And he's heavily inspired by BTK, Dennis Rader, who is one of the few serial killers that was open about everything that was going on in his mind on his court dates. If you watch his stuff, he basically tells you his process, how he would find a project is what he would call it, how he would stalk them for months. He called them projects, and he would stalk them for months before he killed them. And some people there were his projects, he would stalk and never kill them. Someone else would come along. That's what plays in our story. These Goldilocks has projects, and he's very much like it's the hunt, the buildup, the anticipation, and when that is interrupted, he takes it personal.
Yeah, and BTK did that too.
Yes,
by the way.
Yes, I'm very interested in BTK. So I've done a lot of studying on him when I was creating this new version of Goldilocks.
Wow.
GLK.
Well, thank y'all both so much for being on the podcast today and for sharing everything y'all have. This has been awesome. This has been amazing. And so I do want to go and get some of those photos you were talking about and put them on the Austin Action Fest Facebook page for people to see.
She's watching right now. Amanda just did our video. Hey, if you're watching, shout out. Amanda did awesome as the female Joker in that video. And again, the band's called Mephisto Odyssey. Keep an eye out for them, featuring Wayne Static. The song's called Crash.
Where
Yeah.
can I go to get those photos again? Let me know
Well,
where
you
and
can-
where
they're
people
on
can
my
notice him.
they're on my personal page,
Okay, okay.
my Facebook page. I put them on there,
Okay.
just to show that what we were working on.
I'll go
And
grab some for y'all
yeah,
too.
on
Yeah,
the Cotton
thank y'all so
Eye
much.
group, there's plenty of production stills on the group page as well to see some of the stuff that we did with the Cotton Eye trailers. So. I can't wait for you guys to see it, man. And another shameless plug again. Keep an eye out. Butcher's Bluff is coming very, very, very soon to streaming sites. And so
keep plugging it. This is the stuff that everybody says they're tired of. Even in their comments, they're tired of the remakes from Hollywood.
Right.
Great.
Well, there's 32 kills,
But-
32 kills in Butcher's Bluff, man. All practical effects. So if you like that,
But that's the thing. It's like if you're tired of Hollywood and whatever they're doing, you have to support stuff like this.
Yeah.
If you don't support independent filmmakers, but you're complaining about Hollywood, shut up. That's my message of the day. Get active.
All right.
That's all I got. I'm done. And the show's over on that one.
all right.
But also, thank you so much for everybody for
Thank
joining
you,
us.
Lord Violence. You've been a great host, and all of you as well. Thank you again. So
Yeah.
it's been
Thank you, Darren.
Darren.
Stayed with us for
Being
2.5
here.
hours. You guys are champs.
We could probably go longer, but yeah.
Yeah. This has been a really cool conversation. A lot of stuff has come out of this. So thank y'all. You dropped a lot of
Appreciate
nuggets,
you.
a lot of
Yeah.
knowledge bombs.
Yeah.
Ryan.
So with that, we are done for the night with Action Addicts. Thank you for joining us. Everyone who's engaged in the comments section, appreciate you. Make sure you check this out live. If you're live, we get to ask your questions to the artists. We get to talk about it online. As you see that we did, we appreciate you, love you, and most important of all, keep fighting out there. We'll catch you on the next one.